Mike, Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, and Jim Barber. The Iowa Hawkeyes at 5-3. The Northwestern Wildcats at 8-1. And here come the Wildcats, the 5th-ranked team in the nation, looking for their 8th win in a row. It is a cold afternoon, although the snow has subsided. 26 degrees, winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour out of the north. And they're playing on an artificial surface. Veteran head coach Hayden Fry, the dean of Big Ten coaches in his 17th year with the Hawkeyes. And on the other side, one of the stories of college football, Gary Barnett in his 4th year here at Northwestern, and he has this team in the race for the Rose Bowl. When Gary Barnett came here to Northwestern, he said he tried to model his program after the Iowa program. And there's been a lot of talk this week that this game is going to be one physical, hard-hitting affair, Randy Wright, because there have been charges and counter-charges about running up scores and the 21-game winning streak by Iowa over Northwestern. And who knows what allegations are true or not. Only Hayden Fry and the Hawkeyes might know one way or the other, but at any rate, it's made for some colorful verbiage leading up to this game here this afternoon.
One thing you can count on, Wayne, whenever you play Iowa, it is going to be a physical football game. They always have been that way. As long as Hayden Fry is the coach there, I think they always will be.
The Hawkeyes will receive to start this ball game. Tim Dwight, Damon Gibson dropping back deep. Brian Goins getting set to kick it away. And Goins has the wind to his back, and the wind, in fact, makes the first play of the game by knocking the ball off the tee. The wind out of the north, and it is gusting. And there is Tim Dwight, very important man in the Iowa plans here today. They'd like to get the ball in his hands about 15 times, and they'll do it any number of ways, as a receiver, kick returner, punt returner, and as a runner. And here's the boot by Goins, and he kicks to the other side, and coming out of there, Damon Gibson. Gibson tripped up out near the 15-yard line, so it'll be a first down for the Iowa Hawkeyes from there.
First and 10 Iowa at their own 15-yard line.
The Iowa Hawkeyes are piloted by sophomore quarterback Matt Sherman. Sherman comes in having thrown 13 interceptions and 10 touchdown passes. The Hawkeyes will call a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage. They'll messenger their plays in with either Willie Guy or Tim Dwight. And Iowa goes first down. Cedric Shaw, the tail of the tandem in the I formation. Scott Slutzker, the big tight end, was in motion. There was a false start, I believe, on the Hawkeyes. Looked like Mike Goff, the right guard, might have moved prematurely. Referee David Whitvote. Be hearing from him this afternoon from time to time. And it looks like we've got an injury to the fullback, Rodney Filer. He's holding his knee, isn't he?
What a terrible start for Iowa. They come up in bad field position after the kickoff. Then they get the ball, and they get a penalty, and they get their starting fullback injured. Take a look at Filer coming at you right there. Number 34 just gets rocked back by the outside linebacker, Sutter. I don't think he was going full speed. I think he heard the whistle blow, and Filer may have been letting up as contact was made. Sutter delivered the blow.
Sutter hit him up high, though, Randy, and this is, again, they're working on the knee, the left knee of Rodney Filer.
May have been planted wrong or twisted as he was coming down on it. It didn't look like he was planted as he was hit by Sutter up top.
The penalty against Iowa moves the football back to the 10-yard line, where it'll be first and 15.
One thing, Wayne, if you look at today's game, generally bad weather will equalize two teams. The better team may not always win. I don't know if that's going to hold true today, because Iowa counts so much on the big play. They need to be able to throw the ball 20, 25 yards downfield. If they can't operate their offense normally because of the conditions, then it will certainly give Northwestern even more of an advantage.
You take a look at Iowa. Their leading receivers, Tim Dwight, Willie Guy, and Demo Odoms all average over 17 yards per pass reception. Iowa's passing game, when they decide to throw the football, they go downfield.
And the 4th and 5th leading receivers average over 50. So they are throwing down the field to everybody.
1st and 15, a quick count. Here comes Cedric Shaw. He is met in the hole by Jeff Shine and driven back after a gain of 2 out near the 12-yard line. Let's take a look at the Iowa lineup for you. Tim Dwight, we mentioned him. He is a big play artist downfield, and he can make big plays in any number of ways. Casey Weekman leads the offensive line. One of the top centers in the Big Ten Conference. And one would figure Iowa will try to run a lot here today. Northwestern normally does anyway. 2nd down for the Hawkeyes and Matt Sherman. Tim Dwight is at the bottom of your screen. Shaw picks his way and has a hole. Undercut move by Rodney Ray on the tackle across the 20-yard line near the 21. And the Hawkeyes face a 3rd down coming up. The Northwestern defense has been the story for the revival of this program, led by Matt Rice up front. The linebacker, Pat Fitzgerald from the south side of Chicago, Orland Park, leads the Big Ten in tackles. And Chris Martin is the defensive back who has been standout.
Nice hole that time for Shaw to run through, but a nice tackle coming up by Bennett that time. Make that good firm tackle. Chris Martin, excuse me.
From the 21, 3rd down and about 4 for Iowa. They're going wide with Shaw. And Shaw drives William Bennett back to the 25. It looks like he's got enough for the 1st down. William Bennett, the man on the stop.
Nice lead block by the running back Berger right here, coming out of his fullback position, gets Ismaeli out of the position to make the tackle that time. Gives Shaw just enough room. Take another look at him coming right out of the backfield. Shaw follows his blockers, sets it up, then he follows it through. Gets maybe just enough for the 1st down. It's going to be awfully close here.
And the Wildcat is down on the play as well. They bring the chains from across the way. It appeared he had enough for the 1st down, but I don't think he got too generous a spot here. The placement of the football, and
well, that's well short.
Yeah, they are.
The ball is spotted
down to the field, Jim Barber.
Wayne, as you can imagine, the temperatures bring the wind chill down here around 0 degrees. On top of that, there are some icy spots on this field, although most of the field representatives assured me that things are going to be pretty okay. Although one usher did come up to me earlier today and say, "Welcome to Lambeau Field." You can appreciate that, Randy.
Well, it's got to get a little colder to get to like Lambeau.
Hawkeyes are going for it on 4th down. Less than a yard. Boy, this is a gutsy call at this stage of the game. At the 25.
When you have to win, you've lost 3 in a row, you take some chances. This is a big one right here.
Sherman might go right behind his big center, Weigman. And I think they're just trying to get Northwestern to jump off sides. Sherman calls for a timeout as the play clock winds down to 1. Iowa takes a timeout. Now they bring the punting unit on the field.
It's a good idea, but to burn a timeout like that when Northwestern doesn't jump, you have to wonder. They're sitting there thinking the same thing. Obviously, they kept their poise. Now they cost Iowa a timeout that could come back to haunt them later in the half.
So the Hawkeyes bring on
the Northwestern Wildcats,
the best punter in the Big Ten, at least from a numerical standpoint. Nick Gallery's 47-yard average is best in the conference. As a matter of fact, he'd be best in the country if he had 2 more punts to qualify for the national rankings.
And almost as important as that, Wayne, is the fact he's got a 40-yard net. So he's not only kicking the ball deep, but he's getting enough hang time so that his coverage team can get down there and make the tackle.
Well, if he has to punt much in this 1st quarter, he will be challenged because he is kicking into the teeth of that wind coming right at him out of the north.
I think we saw, Wayne, how the weather conditions affected Iowa's play calling. We saw some 2nd and 3rd and longs. They didn't put the ball up at all. If they have to run the ball when they go into this wind, it's really going to limit their offense.
Ryan Musso back deep to receive this punt. Gallery gets off an end-over-end kick. And this one caroms by Musso, is covered by the Hawkeyes as it bounces out of bounds near the 29-yard line. And it'll be 1st down for Northwestern from there. So Nick Gallery went for the low kick, got the good roll, and the Hawkeyes had the coverage. 47-yard punt, which which is exactly what his average coming into the game was. So the Northwestern Wildcats bring on their offensive unit for the first time here this afternoon, led by their quarterback, Steve Schnurr. Darnell Autry, leading rusher in the Big Ten Conference, not going anywhere. The Hawkeyes showed good pursuit along the line.
Brought down by
John LaFleur on the defensive line made the stop on the play. Take a look at the Northwestern offense. Dwayne Bates makes big plays on the outside. They'd like to get the ball in his hands, much like Iowa would like to get the ball to Tim Dwight. Rob Johnson is the veteran center on a solid offensive line. Loss of 2 on the play. Second down and about 12. Schnurr to Autry. Autry straight up the middle, moves the pile forward out to the 31-yard line on a gain of about 4 yards. The Iowa defense. Jared DeVries makes plays behind the line of scrimmage. In the linebacking core, Bobby Diaco, second leading tackler in the Big Ten. In the secondary, Blez Atkins has returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns this season. It is third down for Northwestern at about 9 yards to go. A little bit less than that. Jumped on the right side of the Iowa offensive line, and the pass incomplete in the flat. There are penalty markers down. Iowa, I'm sure, will decline the illegal procedure penalty against Northwestern.
Penalty flag on the play.
It would force 4th down if they do decline.
Good safe pass play that time by Schnurr at Northwestern. When they have 3rd and long, that's not something they feel very comfortable with, but yet they're not going to shy away from it. They still are going to throw the ball, but Schnurr has got the intelligence and the experience to know if it's not open downfield, throw it out in the flat, throw a high percentage back, the high percentage pass to my back, maybe let him break a tackle and make a play.
Illegal motion, the call technically, declined by Iowa, forcing a 4th down. And Paul Burton, whose dad was an All-America here at Northwestern, in punt formation. Twin safeties back deep for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Burton with a good win behind him, averaging almost 40 yards per punt. And he gets off a line drive kick. Tim Dwight makes it over the shoulder, muff, and covers it near the 19-yard line, where the Hawkeyes will put it in play. We're scoreless in Evanston, Iowa, and Northwestern. Back after these words. Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, Jim Barber back in frigid Evanston, Illinois. The Iowa Hawkeyes, the Northwestern Wildcats. This series, well, you know about the 21-game winning streak by Iowa in the series, but take a look at the last 3 years in this series. 2 blowouts there in favor of Iowa in a tight game in 1993.
And this is what has spurred a little bit of the controversy going on, as some of the Northwestern players had said, hey, we don't think it was right the way Iowa has run up the score, so we want to pay him back, and this is our best chance today with this year's team.
And Hayden Price said, I think those kids over there are just feeling their oats. And why not? When you won 7 in a row and you're the 5th-ranked team in the nation, you've got oats to feel. Cedric Shaw around the end. Bennett escorts him out of the bounds with Martin helping out across the 20-yard line near the 22. It's a gain of about 3 yards.
One of the few wide running plays we have seen early in this game. It's going to be much harder to make that cut up the field when you run wide because of the field conditions, because it's very, very slick. When you're running straight ahead, you get that momentum and that speed going. You can just run through an open hole. Run to the outside. See a lot of people slip today.
2nd and 7 for the Hawkeyes from their 22. Shaw again slips and falls this time. The elements here today make the tackle on Cedric Shaw. Let's go to Purdue, Michigan. Mike Gleason.
Oh, Wayne, you're not the only one with some snow. Check it out. Snowy conditions in Ann Arbor today. Michigan, punt formation, turnovers playing a key already. Purdue's Craig Allen fumbles the football, and the Wolverines' Sam Sword recovers on the 2-yard line. That led to a Remy Hamilton 25-yard field goal. Wolverines up 3-0. Let's go back to Evanston.
Well, that snow we had last night and this morning has made its way across Lake Michigan over to Ann Arbor. And they're in for some more snow this afternoon before that one's over. 3rd and 10 for Iowa. And again, they go to Shaw. Nice cutback move. Shaw short of the first down across the 25 of the 27-yard line. Gain of 7 yards. He needed 10. Pat Fitzgerald made the stop on the play. Last week he had 20 tackles in that ball game against Penn State. And then the coaches got a look at the film and took 3 of them away.
Shaw, that time when you've got 3rd and long, your defensive backs can play a little deeper. They've got enough time to come up and react and make the tackle. Even though Shaw looked like he had a big gain, defensive back stopped it short of the 1st down.
Gallery fields a low snap and gets again a line drive kick away that will not be returned by Musso, and it's out of bounds near the 46 of Northwestern, where the Wildcats will put it in play in good field position for the 2nd time offensively. 32-yard punt that time, and again punting into the wind. I guess the idea there is to keep it low.
Keep it low and end over end, so when that ball bounces, most times it will bounce forward for your team. Kick a high spiral. Even a spiral that bounces on turf sometimes bounces straight up. You don't get the positive roll.
So the Wildcats on offense with a 1st down. Autry going wide, and again attracts a lot of white-clad Hawkeyes. Good pursuit by the Iowa defensive front. Vernon Rollins led the way from the linebacking core. Darnell Autry, the leading rusher of the Big Ten, with 1,339 yards coming in. A single-season school record.
As we said in our open, too, Wayne, he's got 291 carries coming in here with 9 games. They're going to give him the ball throughout the game, especially a day like today. I wouldn't be surprised he carries the ball 40 times. 2nd
down and about 11. Schnurr, the first pass of the game. Dwayne Bates has it at the Iowa 40. It is a 1st down on a gain of about 15 yards. Rollins made the stop. Back to the studio, Mike Gleason.
Wayne, the Seminoles trying to bounce back after losing to Virginia. They're now 29-1 in the ACC. North Carolina's Mike Thomas punting. It's blocked by Mario Edwards. A lot of Seminoles around the football, but Edwards takes it in for the touchdown. First quarter, 14-0 Florida State over North Carolina. Let's go back to Wayne and Randy.
No score here, but Northwestern in enemy territory for the first time this afternoon. Autry. Tough yards straight ahead. There are penalty markers down to the play. The Hawkeyes came away with the football, but the play had been whistled dead.
Penalty flag on the play.
Wait for the officials to sort things out.
Get these kind of conditions, Wayne, sometimes your concentration isn't where it should be. You're thinking about the cold, you're thinking about the wind, you jump off sides, you don't hold your patience on offense, and you jump early. We've seen a lot of that happen already, and we're just 7 minutes into the first quarter.
Iowa offsides on the play. Northwestern will go 1st and 5 in the football. Should be at the 35-yard line. The officials are talking it over, and they do place it down to the 35.
For an Iowa defense that has shut down Northwestern's running game the first couple times they've tried to do that, you just hate to give them a cheap 5 yards like that.
Bates and Beasley at the top of your screen form a slot. The fullback Hartle is on the wing. 1st and 5 from the 35 of Iowa. Autry waits for his blocking. And shot through that hole. Close to the 30-yard line, close to a 1st down, a gain of about 4 yards. Eric Hilgenberg made the stop on the play for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Hilgenberg, a long line of Hilgenbergs that attended the University of Iowa. His father, Wally, was a standout with the Minnesota Vikings for many years.
Gain of 5 on the play. 2nd down, less than a yard at the Iowa 30-yard line.
2nd down, less than a yard to go now. Well, there's that slogan that Gary Barnett coined a few years ago, and people were saying, what are you talking about?
Well, a few years ago, other teams could expect victory when they played Northwestern. Now, it's Northwestern that's expecting victory.
Rollins had a shot at Autry in the hole, and Autry able to break that tackle attempt, and he's very close to the 1st down to the 30-yard line. Iowa has come out here very sharp defensively and attacking the running game for the Northwestern Wildcats.
Well, the rush defense for Iowa has been a problem the last couple of weeks. Teams have been able to run in between the tackles. They have shaped that up here today as they have shut down this Northwestern running game early. If they continue to do that, it's going to put a lot more pressure on Schnurr to make him throw the ball. That's not something they're very comfortable doing.
So 1st down for the Northwestern Wildcats. Again, we're scoreless in this first period of play. 7:43 to go, first quarter. The skies are beginning to clear here, and the snow is out of the forecast, but it's going to stay chilly. Schnurr has a man open. Beasley. Make that Bates, and it's incomplete. Bates could not hang on.
What a beautiful throw by Schnurr that time. Just a little play-action pass. Bates one-on-one with Tom Knight, the quarterback there. He gives him the inside. Bates takes that, and Schnurr throws just a beautiful pass, leading Bates away from the defender. Just a little contact right there among the feet. I think that tripped Bates up just enough to break his concentration. Take a look at the beautiful pass Schnurr threw right out there. Got to make that catch. Bates is a young receiver, but he's had an awful lot of success. That's a catchable ball. 2nd down and 10 from the 30 of Iowa. Autry, yards have been tough to come by. Gain of 1. Let's get down to the sidelines in Jim Barber.
Wayne, already you've been talking about the great passing of Steve Schnurr. Notice he gets that ball out in less than 3 seconds. That's something they work on during practice. In fact, if Schnurr is unable to get it underway in 3 seconds, a horn blows. That allows him to get the defense, get things going quicker, and also avoid sacks.
Thank you, Jim. Meanwhile, the ground game has not been on track yet. Autry 6 carries, 7 yards here this afternoon in the early going. 3rd and 9, and Schnurr comes up throwing. And isn't able to get it away. Ennis Inge led the charge. And it is 4th down coming up for Northwestern. Let's go back to the studio, Mike Gleason.
Oh, Wayne, this will drive coaches crazy. Check it out. Maryland kicker Brad Rhodes kicks off after a field goal. Virginia lets the kick bounce. It's recovered by Maryland's Paul Jackson. Scott Milinovich took it in for the touchdown. They added 2. It's Maryland 11-0 over Virginia in the 1st.
Back here, another Iowa Hawkeye down on the field. Eric Hilgenberg is injured. Boy, and he has played very well for this team at the defensive end position.
He's been outstanding. He didn't start earlier. George Bennett started and played a lot, but Hilgenberg has really come on as of late. 10 tackles for losses and 8 sacks. Most of the pressure on Iowa's defense with their pass rush comes from the outside. Ennis Inge, Hilgenberg, and Jared DeVries from this defensive end position. To lose Hilgenberg would really be a blow to them right here.
Hilgenberg missed time earlier this season with a shoulder injury. Hayden Fry asking for some assistance from the bench area now. And we'll check on the injury when we return. Back to Evanston, no score, 1st quarter. We'll return after these words.
Identify.
On the field for the Iowa Hawkeyes, the senior out of Minnesota. And they are calling for the carts. This obviously does not look good for him. Maybe a knee injury. I'm just hard to tell what they were working on. We were kind of screened on it.
He looked as though he was holding his knee when he was down on the field.
Should be pointed out, Rodney Filer on the first play of the game from scrimmage for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Their starting fullback went out with what appeared to be a knee injury. We'll have to check the status of these players coming up a little bit later on. The Northwestern Wildcats have a 4th down coming up at the 33-yard line. And they had an opportunity to score right here. This is the guy they want to get it to, Dwayne Bates.
Just a little contact between the feet of these 2 players took Bates off of his stride. You talk about Steve Schnurr's experience and poise. He wants to get rid of the ball and make a play. But yet when nothing is open, he doesn't force it. He goes ahead, takes the sack, and now they can come back on 4th down. A couple years ago, he may have thrown that ball when nobody was open, wound up being an interception.
So Eric Hilgenberg is taken to the locker room.
Paul Burton will hold.
And we've got a field goal try coming up right here. Brian Goins. As long as 49 yards. This is a 50-yarder with the wind to his back. And he's got the first points of the game on the board. Brian Goins, who took over for the injured Sam Valancisi a few weeks ago, puts Northwestern on top with a 50-yard field goal. It is 3-0 Wildcats.
Take a look. It was a good snap, a good hold. Iowa just putting token pressure, thinking maybe more of the fake. And Goins just does get that inside the upright.
Well, he had the wind to his back, so it was a good call in terms of a long field goal. But Randy, on a cold day like this, you usually don't. It's like kicking a rock. You usually don't get the distance on your kicks that you do on a warm, sultry day. But when you've got a 30-mile, you've got a wind gusting to 30 miles per hour behind you, you generally can count on getting some distance. So Goins, who has done a good job for Northwestern since the injury to Valencizi, who leads the Big Ten in scoring and had hit 15 of 16 field goals prior to his knee injury, kicks it away. Twin safeties back deep for the Hawkeyes. This a shorter kickoff, and it's muffed on the play by the Hawkeyes. Gibson, and then recovered in the end zone. It'll belong to the Hawkeyes out of the 20-yard line. Again, it looked like Damon Gibson just kind of went through his hands. It should be pointed out that the reason they don't have to take it out of the end zone is because the impetus was provided by the kicker here. This was never controlled by Gibson. It got right by him into the end zone and covered by Tim Dwight.
I agree with you, Wayne. It looked like it went right through his hands and arms. And fortunately for Iowa, it was bouncing end over end and got all the way into the end zone.
Because if he caught that ball and then kind of mishandled it into the end zone, then the Hawkeyes would be responsible for it and have to take it out of there. But now first down from the 20-yard line for the Hawkeyes. Slutzker, the tight end, is in motion. They've got two tight ends in the game. And Cedric Shaw is met in the hole this time and driven down by Larry Curry, the senior out of Granite City, Illinois.
One thing that Ron Vanderlinden, the defensive coordinator for Northwestern, wanted his team to do was stay at home and have patience early. Iowa often game plans to make big plays. It's a part of their scheme. And until the coaching staff for Northwestern could figure out what that scheme was for this game, he told his team, stay at home, have patience, let us see what they want to do. Then we'll put you in the right position to stop that. Early on, don't give up anything big, though.
This is Iowa's third offensive possession. They're yet to throw a pass. They are operating into a strong wind out of the north. Motion again from the tight end. Shaw gets the call. They block it well up front. Cedric Shaw's got 4 yards out near the 24-yard line. Pat Fitzgerald made the stop on the play for the Northwestern Wildcats, and it's a third down for Iowa at about 6 yards to go.
Cedric Shaw, one of only 2 Hawkeyes with 4 straight 100-yard games. And as we said earlier, coming into this game, although he's only a junior, he only needs 45 rushing yards to become the all-time leader there.
Third down, and it's 6 yards to go for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and Sherman perhaps changing the play at the line. First pass of the day. Sherman slipped and slips away from the defense. And he's got a first down to the 31-yard line. He slipped in the backfield, but his knee did not touch the ground. He was able to keep his balance enough and then eluded a couple of tackle attempts.
Well, as he slips, he puts his hands down to keep himself from going down, and then he has enough presence of mind to hold on to that ball. He's coming into some contact, holds on to it, knows how far he needs to get the first down, covers up the ball, and then falls head first. Doesn't slide to protect himself, falls head first just enough to get the first down. Good
First
play
down of the day for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And now Sherman needs a timeout. Second timeout of this first quarter for Iowa. They have 1 timeout left. I think that Sherman wants to check the play clock. He's talking with one of the officials right now, and we will take a timeout. I really think that what Matt Sherman wants to do is he's visiting with a head official now, David Whitboat. I believe it's a problem with the play clock.
Exactly. It's the 25-second clock that was moving down.
We'll take a timeout. Northwestern leading with 4:22 to go first quarter in Evanston. Rooftops, a tradition here in Chicago. Rooftop viewing of sporting events on the north side of Chicago is a tradition at Wrigley Field, and here at Dyke Stadium in Evanston, it's also in vogue. You're a little bit closer when you're at Wrigley, though.
Tickets are harder to get now in Evanston. You have to watch it from the rooftop.
First down, Iowa Hawkeyes. Cedric Shaw cutting it back. And he's got yardage out to the 36. It looked to be a gain of about 5 yards. Tim Sharp responding from the linebacking core of the Wildcats on the stop.
with Iowa not being able to throw the ball effectively into this wind, all that more important that they can run the ball successfully for 5 or 6 yards on first down to stay in that 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5 position.
Under 4 minutes to go, first quarter. Northwestern is leading 3-0. Slutzker, the tight end, in motion. Shaw made a couple of nice moves, but could not elude Eric Collier, the junior from Dixon, Illinois, who's done a great job in the secondary. Northwestern, a veteran secondary with 3 seniors and a junior.
Nice tackle. When you have your free safety Bennett coming up here, continuing to force Shaw to the outside, and then Collier, the strong safety, does a good job of hanging on and wrapping up.
3rd and 1 for Iowa.
Collier, as you see, the only junior in that secondary, and that's one reason why Northwestern's coaches feel their front people have played so well, is because they can take a lot of chances with their secondary being veteran.
Carter, Guy, and the tight end Slutzker. To the top of your screen, Slutzker in motion, and Shaw follows him for the first down out across the 40-yard line near the 44. So the Iowa Hawkeyes beginning to get their ground game into gear. Pat Fitzgerald made the stop on the play for Northwestern.
Iowa brings Slutzker, the tight end, in motion to get another body over there in front of Shaw. If you shut off the penetration, as you see, Iowa's offensive line does a nice job. Then it gives Shaw time to get his momentum going, get a little bit of speed, and can get that first down.
This is an Iowa Hawkeye team that has come in here with a great deal more purpose and determination than what they've shown the last couple of weeks. First down from the 44-yard line. Tight end Price in motion to the right. Shaw cuts it back. Shaw's got a first down inside the 45-yard line. Into Northwestern territory for the first time on the Hawkeyes this afternoon to the 43. Pickup of 13 yards. Martin made the stop downfield.
One thing with this Northwestern defensive front, they tend to over pursue. Here you see Matt Rice, probably their best front player, over pursues the play. Shaw cuts right back behind him, sets it up. They've been running to the outside a little bit. This time he sets it up and breaks back, and you saw the missed tackle by number 36, Casey Daly. Interesting story about Matt Rice. I'll get back to Wayne after this play.
Just inside the 43 of the Hawkeyes on first down. Cedric Shaw straight ahead. And Shaw down near the 35-yard line, a gain of 7.
William Bennett on the tackle.
Here you see Matt Rice. He's from Middleton, Wisconsin, which is right outside of Madison, home of the Badgers. And after the Northwestern Wildcats beat Wisconsin 35-0, they asked him if when he went home this summer he was going to wear his Northwestern purple. He said, you know, after this year I'm going to wear my Northwestern purple everywhere I go.
I guess so. And why not? Second down for Iowa now. The Hawkeyes on the move at the 35 of Northwestern. Second at about 3. Shaw, good spin move, but Collier would not give him the first down. Although they gave him a generous spot of the ball. Looks like he may have picked it up. Let's get back to the sidelines. Jim Barber, you got an update on the Iowa injuries?
Yes, we've had a couple of injuries today. Eric Hilgenberg has injured his knee. Right now they're going to undergo examination, x-ray style of that. As for Rodney Filer, he twisted his knee. They're going to hold him out until halftime. That's the word from Ed Crowley, the head team trainer for the Hawkeyes.
Thank you very much, Jim. Generous spot of the ball on that run. Cedric Shaw got him a first down.
I think Iowa has really got to be happy with the way they're moving the ball this drive. The main focus of their offense is to throw the ball, and if they can move it this well running it, when they get the wind at the end of the quarter, they could really be explosive.
Less than a minute to go in the first quarter on first down. Shaw cut down by Sutter. Excellent play by the outside linebacker of the Northwestern Wildcats, Danny Sutter. His brother Ed is Northwestern's second all-time leading tackler.
Great play by Sutter here. Just gets some real deep penetration coming off of the snap, and he gets right underneath Shaw's feet. No place for Shaw to go. You see the ice and the snow on the field. He doesn't have the traction to make a move.
Loss of a couple of yards. Second down now for the Hawkeyes. Here's a look at Ed Sutter. Should say Danny Sutter, Ed being his brother, who's now playing in the pros. Hawkeyes get motion out of the backfield. Quick throw, and this is Tim Dwight. Tim Dwight fights for yardage down near the 26-yard line. Matt Rice got over to make coverage on the play as the first quarter comes to a close. The end of one period, Iowa's on the drive, but Northwestern is on the lead. 3-0 Wildcats after one. Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, Jim Barber back in Evanston, our Big Ten crew. The Northwestern Wildcats leading 3-0. Opportunities inside the red zone, inside your opponent's 20-yard line on a day like today, Randy, I imagine sometimes could be hard to come by, and you've got to take advantage when you get close.
That's exactly right, Wayne. And Iowa has been pretty successful when they have gotten down there. They've been in the red zone 32 times, have 27 scores, 22 of those being touchdowns. And what you said is exactly right. You may not get that many opportunities, so you need to take advantage of it when you do get down there.
Third down coming up for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're not quite to the red zone yet, which is inside the Northwestern 20-yard line. Third down and about 5. Shaw. And he's got a first down to the 20-yard line of Northwestern. Once again, Shaw showing two factors in his running game, patience and vision.
I think it also shows by this play call how much confidence they have in their running game. 3rd and 6, normally a passing down for Iowa, but they're having a lot of success. Look at that blocking up front by the Iowa Hawkeyes to open up that hole, and this is going against a team that has been very, very solid against the run.
They've been running behind Ross Verba and Matt Purdy on the left side of the offensive line. And again, Shaw bouncing left. Just inside the 20 now to the 18-yard line, a gain of 2 yards.
Nice kick out block by Mike Goff, the right guard. He pulls, comes out, kicks Sutter out just enough to give Shaw the hole. Get through there for a little gain, but at least positive yardage.
And Randy, the most veteran unit on this Iowa team, and it is a relatively young team throughout. A lot of sophomores and juniors playing, but the veteran unit is the offensive line.
Very physical, very big. The 2 guards in the center, that's where their strength is.
Second down, a little bit less than 9 yards to go. Shaw again, this time not a lot of room. Quick move in the interior of the line initially by Mike Giametti. Pat Fitzgerald filled from the linebacking core.
Iowa setting this stage, though. They wanted to come in here and play a very physical game and just what they had said, pop Northwestern in the mouth and see how they were going to respond. So far, by running the ball, being aggressive in their line, they've been able to do that. Northwestern needs to do some things aggressively on the defensive side of the ball to make Iowa take a step backwards.
The Iowa drive, you talk about patience, 14 plays to cover 63 yards and better than 7.5 minutes of ball control. Third down. Sherman stumbled a bit as he came out of there, but he's got an open man, Michael Berger, and he's first and goal inside the 10 at the 6-yard line of Northwestern. Hudhaifa Ismaeli made the stop along with Jim Sharp.
This is the respect that Northwestern has for Iowa's receivers. Generally, you get inside the 20-yard line, you play man-to-man. Here, Northwestern is playing the zone. You play man-to-man on wet conditions, you slip, the guy scores, it's a touchdown. They play zone, they drop off a little bit too far, and he gives Matt Sherman, as he drops back here, he can see the entire field, he lets the play develop, and then just drops the ball right over the line.
Cedric Shaw in first and goal. Penalty marker down, maybe for a face mask and a high tackle attempt. Rodney Ray in pursuit along with Mike Warren on the Northwestern front.
Penalty flag on the play.
It's got to be
Shaw out of bounds near the 1-yard line.
Going to be a personal foul face mask, so it won't be a lot of yards, but it'll give Iowa the down again. And as we talked earlier, every down becomes so important on a day like today. When you get inside the 5-yard line, you got to be able to capitalize on it. So once again, it's not the yardage that really helps. It's the chance to run the down over again.
The Hawkeyes on this drive now have run 15 plays. They have consumed about 7 minutes and 45 seconds on this drive, and they are first and goal at the doorstep of the Wildcats, south end zone of Dyke Stadium. Berger is the fullback. They've got 2 tight ends in the game. Slutzker in motion. Shaw follows Slutzker into the left side of the line for the touchdown. And the Iowa Hawkeyes take the lead 6-3. So the Iowa Hawkeyes watch the reaction by the field general, Matt Sherman.
The point after for Iowa.
And he knows it right away.
Number 38.
Look at the play. The offensive line, it's been working this entire drive. They just fire off the ball and give Cedric Shaw the goal line before any dark jerseys show up. Wayne, they had problems earlier in this game. The Hawkeyes did, keeping their concentration. They were making some penalties. They were going the wrong way. That drive, they got their concentration back where it needed to be, and that was a very well executed drive.
The extra point attempt coming up for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Zach Brommer drills it through the uprights. And the Iowa Hawkeyes have a 7-3 lead over the Northwestern Wildcats in the opening 2 minutes of the second quarter.
10 minutes, 38 seconds. Tapped off on a 1-yard touchdown.
Big Ten Studios coming up at halftime, scores and highlights. Plus, we'll take a look at college football's only two-time Heisman Trophy winner. He's the focus of this week's Centennial Yearbook. Right now, let's send it back to Wayne, Randy, and Jim.
Thank you, Mike. 7-3. Iowa on top of Northwestern. Opportunities on a day like today. You best cash in when you've got an opportunity. Here is one for Northwestern in the first quarter of play. That's Dwayne Bates beating the coverage of Tom Knight, but a little stumble right before the goal line may have cost Northwestern a touchdown. The Iowa Hawkeyes took advantage of their opportunities on a long, time-consuming drive. Cedric Shaw, who on that drive became Iowa's all-time leading rusher, pounds it across, and the Hawkeyes have the lead by 4.
Northwestern's coaches told us they felt this would be the most physical game against the most physical team that they will play all year. So far, I think those fears are coming true because Iowa has come out and physically dominated the line of scrimmage.
Adrian Autry and Josh Barnes are back deep. Brian Hurley getting set to kick the football. When we saw Iowa up at Michigan State earlier this year, they brought 4 kickers on the trip.
They were having a lot of problems with guys that were hurt and guys that were not doing the job.
They had auditions going on, but they've pretty much settled on Bromert now and Hurley. Todd Romano has done some kicking off for them. Hurley has the football being held by Eric Thigpen, and here's his kickoff. A high end over end kick. Josh Barnes from the 13. Good move there to get across the 25, and Northwestern will start near its 27-yard line. To the sidelines, Jim Barber.
Okay, Wayne, let's talk about the offensive line, who had a lot to do with that surge of the Hawkeyes' long touchdown drive. Hayden Fry, you know, he's got enough things to worry about as head coach. He came over personally to talk to the offensive line. Each individual guy patted them all on the back and said, guys, this is exactly what we need to do. We're getting our running game and our surge back. Wayne?
They certainly are, as you could see the numbers on that drive a few moments ago. Get a look at them right there. The big guys up front on a day like today, they paved the way. Autry has had very little room with which to work. The execution, both in the offensive and defensive fronts of the Iowa Hawkeyes, have been impressive. Let's get over to the studio. Mike Gleason.
Wolverines with some opportunities against Purdue, Wayne. Michigan's Tim Biakabatuka with a nice run here, bouncing off of the would-be tacklers. Goes down the sidelines for 37 yards, but the Boilermakers blocked the field goal on the drive. It's still 3-0 Michigan in the second.
7-3 Iowa. 2nd and 10. Darnell Autry this time breaks through for his biggest run of the day. Out across the 30 to the 35-yard line, a gain of 7 yards. Autry on the cover of Sports Illustrated earlier this week. Hawkeyes looked like they had an injury. Jared DeVries shaken up on the play.
DeVries is a player the Hawkeyes can't afford to lose. He's the guy that is their best defensive lineman. He gets the most pressure on the quarterback and the most tackles behind the line of scrimmage. If he goes out, he's going to put a lot more pressure on those linebackers because that's where the pressure is going to fall to make the plays that he ordinarily makes.
3rd down and about 3. Schnur to the air. Schnurr under pressure and sacked back inside the 30. Vernon Rollins, the linebacker who has played big in the first half today, makes the sack. Second time Schnurr has gone down.
We talked earlier, Jim Barber did, about Steve Schnurr and the Northwestern coaches wanting Schnurr to get rid of the ball in less than 3 seconds. Good coverage in the secondary. Doesn't allow anybody to get open. Schnurr has to hold on to the ball for longer than that. When he does, that pressure gets there.
Punt formation time. Paul Burton for the first time kicking into the wind. Tim Dwight back deep for Iowa. Burton, a line drive kick that gets a Northwestern hop. And out of bounds near the 35-yard line, where the Hawkeyes will take over 1st and 10. Iowa has been very impressive here this afternoon in terms of the execution up front of the offensive line and the outright dominance of their defensive front against the Northwestern Wildcat running and passing attack. Today's Big Ten Conference game is a copyrighted telecast of Created Sports Incorporated, and a use, free broadcast, or other transmission of any or all of this game without the express prior written consent of Creative Sports is prohibited. When you take the number 5 rusher in the country and hold him to less than 2 yards a carry, as is the case right now for Darnell Autry, you've done a pretty good job. You've dominated defensively. Now Iowa on offense. First down. Cedric Shaw at 62 yards on the last Iowa drive alone. And this time he gets about 4 out near the 39-yard line. 2nd and 6 coming up.
Coming into a game, Wayne, you look at what Northwestern's defense was doing and offensively, and it's up to Iowa to make those adjustments. They have done some things that have worked very well. They're very simple, but they're executing very well. Now it's up to Northwestern's coaching staff to make the adjustments to stop Iowa's offense, because so far Iowa's having their way. 2nd down for the Hawkeyes, about 6. Slutzker, the tight end, in motion. Cedric Shaw did a nice job there of waiting for his blocking, reading the hole, and diving close to the first down near the 45-yard line. Pat Fitzgerald again made the stop.
Gain of 5 on the play, 3rd down 1 at the
Cedric
Iowa
Shaw
44-yard line.
Moves to the top of the list of Iowa running backs.
Head of a pretty good list of Iowa running backs also. Some big names on that list.
Hawkeyes are 3rd and 1. 9:40 left to go, first half. Motion from Price, the tight end. Shaw follows him to the right side. Good penetration made by Martin, and Cedric Shaw reaches for the first down marker. Chris Martin, the cornerback, came up and forced that play to the outside, a little bit farther outside than Cedric Shaw wanted to cut it. And that may have cost him the first down. We'll have to wait and see on the spot of the ball.
He only needed a yard, and it was a long way to run to pick up that 1 yard. And it looked just at the end, he had enough of a move and enough momentum left in him to pick that up. It was very, very close.
Decision time once again. He is short of the first down, and this time Hayden Fry says, well, wait a minute, guys. We've already burned a couple of timeouts. We're not going to get the Wildcats to jump off sides. They're a pretty smart bunch up front.
And you've got the lead, and you want to try and back Northwestern up, make them go into the wind as far as you can.
So on in punt formation with a wind to his back is Nick Gallery, and he gets good leverage into this punt. Brian Musso makes the catch in the swirling winds of Dyke Stadium. And the Wildcats will take over, trailing 7-3.
Okay, new rules. Individuals are no longer more important than the team.
You want a piece of that championship? Put it in here. Nobody can do it alone, but together we can do it.
Sports magazines include more team photos. More game balls go to linemen. We all play more as a team. We pat someone on the butt when they fail and celebrate like madmen when they succeed. Starter, it's about team.
This is the Synchrony STS seed and herbicide system. This is the Bean Machine.
And a lot of folks have made it over here from Iowa. The team was to fly in here yesterday afternoon. They decided to take a bus in. It was a torrential monsoon-like rain all day yesterday here in Evanston, and then last night it turned to snow, and this morning you woke up, you thought
it turned to ice.
You thought it was January instead of November. Iowa has dominated this football game thus far, although they only lead 7-3. Now on first down, Hawkeyes showed a blitz, play action, and Schnurr looking to throw. Had a man open in the flat, tipped it, intercepted. Tom Knight down the sidelines. He's got a convoy to the end zone. Touchdown, Iowa.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time. It was a good play action. Schnurr has his man Hartle wide open in the flat and just puts the ball too high for him to jump up there. And as Hartle tries to get it, tips the ball up. Tom Knight, the right place at the right time. Here we'll take a look at it. Good play action. Schnurr's got plenty of time. Just throws the ball too high. Hartle trying to catch it, goes way up, and Knight, seeing the pass develop right in front of him, reacts to the throw, and as the ball gets tipped up in the air, he's right there and turns it into a touchdown. It's the third interception Iowa has returned for a touchdown this year.
Les Atkins has the other two. Zach Bromert for the point after. Ryan Driscoll the holder, and the kick is good. Well, a few weeks ago, we saw Northwestern fall behind Illinois 14-0. They have fallen behind the Iowa Hawkeyes 14-3 here at home. Iowa Hawkeyes have won 21 in a row over this Northwestern program. And so despite the way things have gone this season, they felt they came in here with some confidence. Take a look at the longest winning streaks among Division I rivalries. Notre Dame 31 in a row over Navy. Nebraska over Kansas State. Kansas and Nebraska meet today. The Cornhuskers could run that to 27.
Gary Barnett was speaking at a luncheon yesterday, Wayne, and they were talking to him about this 21-year streak, and he said that's kind of short compared to some of the ones that they've broken this year. And you look at Notre Dame and you look at Michigan, was 3 decades. He didn't think 21 was that bad.
Yeah, that's nothing. Much longer streaks we've been working against. I mean, Michigan has been 3 decades. So
number 17, Josh Barnes, and number 30.
Until they went up to Ann Arbor and won this year. It's been a long time since Northwestern had defeated Michigan. Twin safeties dropping back deep. Darnell Autry on the far side. Josh Barnes on the near side of your screen. And Brian Hurley has it on the tee. 8:25 to go, first half. Good leverage into this kick. And Autry. Adrian Autry across the 20. Nice move out near the 29-yard line. There is a penalty marker down very late in the play. Ed Gibson made the stop for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
One thing about Steve Schnurr, Wayne, is Northwestern doesn't need him to be extraordinary. What he has done so well for them is the ordinary things extraordinarily well. He knows that. He plays within himself. That last play, those are the plays that he has made very well for this team. That's one reason why they have such a positive turnover ratio. That play was very unlike him. A simple pass, he just threw too high.
During the return, personal foul. First down.
Personal foul against Iowa. So this gives Northwestern better field position to start their drive. And they are trailing 14-3. 8:21 left to go.
As we go back and talk, as I finish that thought up about Schnurr, he needs to make sure, even though they're down 14-3, that he doesn't try and make the plays that he's not comfortable making.
We are second period in Evanston. And now when the officiating crew gets everything straightened out, the Wildcats find themselves at their 44-yard line. Darnell Autry. Biggest run of the day for either team. Autry out of bounds inside the Iowa 30 near the 29-yard line. Mick Mulheron Forced him out of the near side. 27-yard run.
This is what Northwestern does best. They give the ball to Autry. They let him pick the hole. Excellent blocking up front. And then he breaks to the outside. He's got that speed. A lot of people don't realize how fast he is because he's so durable and because he takes so many players on. He's got great speed. And as you see, this play will unfold. A little counter step to the right. Comes back. He lets the hole develop. And then he busts right through it.
A little counter step will sell the play to the linebackers, won't it?
Especially with the way Iowa is pursuing so far, you just need a little move to make them think the whole play's going in.
Autry gets by Diaco. Autry close to the first down near the 21-yard line. Oh, he made a good move out of the 30-yard line to get beyond Bobby Diaco, the second leading tackler in the Big Ten, and John LaFleur put him away, gain of about 9.
You see Autry again getting Iowa to over pursue. He cuts back. A huge hole right there. When your linebacker misses a tackle, everybody else is generally going to be blocked. That's going to lead to a big play.
Autry now 10 carries, 50 yards. 36 of those yards or thereabouts have come on the last 2 calls. Second down. Autry this time is nabbed as he waited for his blocking by John LaFleur. He gets back to the line of scrimmage and no farther. So third down coming up.
After 2 outside running plays, Northwestern trying to catch Iowa, thinking outside, and to bust a quick one right up the middle. Iowa stayed at home, well-disciplined defense, made a nice stop.
So third down for Northwestern, trailing by the score of 14-3. Just over 7 minutes to go. Second quarter.
I think they need a touchdown on this drive, Wayne. If Iowa holds them again to a field goal, that's going to be a little victory for them. Northwestern needs a touchdown.
Autry going wide. Rollins forced the play. Bill Ennis-Inge denied him the first down. Iowa's fired up for this ball game today, no doubt about it. Our sideline reporter Jim Barber may have a reason behind that.
All right, Wayne, take a look at this newspaper. This is the Quad City Times after Iowa was beaten by Illinois at home. This particular writer, this columnist, called the Hawkeyes who played that game fakes, imposters, and phonies for their performance during the last 3 games. We talk about the war of the worlds between the 2 teams. That may have happened in this newspaper. That may be one reason the Hawkeyes are playing so well today.
You're right, Jim. That is bulletin board material, no doubt about it. And the Hawkeyes have come out with a great deal of purpose here today.
If they can sustain that emotion and that momentum for 60 minutes, they're going to be in this game till the very end. It's sometimes hard when you come out on such an emotional high early to sustain that for 60 minutes.
Well, you know, the other factor is this. We saw, as I mentioned earlier, Northwestern at Illinois get down 14-0. And they started making some adjustments on that coaching staff, and boy, they just worked it through and eventually ended up with a 17-14 victory.
And they started making some very good plays defensively to shut down Illinois. A little difference here is I think Iowa's offense is more explosive than Illinois. So not only does Northwestern need to get the points on the board, they need to make the adjustments on defense also to shut down this Iowa running game.
So timeout, as you can see on the field, and Gary Barnett talking with his offensive unit. Autry lost a yard in that last play. It's 4th down and about 2 yards to go. For the Northwestern Wildcats, the football just inside the Iowa 22-yard line. The field goal try, Randy, would be almost 40 yards, and they'd be kicking into a pretty strong wind. Brian Goins has done a good job in relief of Sam Balancisi, but that would be by no means a gimme.
And I think this goes back to one of the points we made earlier. When you get the opportunities down inside or close to the red zone, you need to turn those into touchdowns. That's what Northwestern's trying to do here.
4th down, it's a long 2 yards to go. Schnurr. Over the middle, he's got the big tight end for the touchdown. Darren Drexler. A great call on 4th down and about 2 yards to go. 21-yard touchdown pass.
It was a great call, especially when you've got Darnell Autry in the backfield. The threat of Autry brings the linebackers up to the line of scrimmage, and that opens up Drexler right behind him. Steve Schnurr looking there the entire way. You see the linebackers trying to reach up and knock that ball down. Couldn't get there, and then Drexler just pulls his way into the end zone.
And the point after is good by Brian Goins, and the Northwestern Wildcats charge right back into it. 6:44 to go. First half at Evanston. Iowa's lead down to 4.
The family of the future will have many hundreds of television channels.
Gee, mister, won't that be confusing?
Not with this, a video guide. It'll let them see what's on 7 days into the future, or what's on right now. It'll give them instant news and sports scores. And with just one touch, they'll even be able to tape record their favorite television shows. Don't forget the tape.
So what do you think they'd call this video guide?
Video guide. It's about time.
Furman here, and big things are happening right now here at Mendelssohn's.
Mendelssohn's has just received an incredible selection of authentic casino-style slot machines, and they're making them available to the general public. Choose from standard slot machines, poker machines, keno machines, and more. Just like they have in the casinos. So if you're looking for that unique gift for Christmas or something special for your game room, Mendelssohn's has it.
You have to see it to believe it. Mendelssohn's, 340 East 1st Street, Dayton. Mendelssohn's.
She was everything a man could ever want, but I just had to let her go.
She said, darling, we can work it out. I said, honey, I don't think so.
See, the two of us are not the same. We're as different as night and day.
Now there's pepperoni in the crust.
I gotta eat mine the wrong way.
Crust first.
There's a new stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut with not just cheese, but pepperoni baked right into the crust.
I'm a little lonely. Small price to pay for pepperoni.
Replay. This is 4th down, almost 3 yards to go. 2.5 yards to go. Steve Schnurr up and firing over the middle. An all-or-nothing play to the tight end. They get not only the first down, but the touchdown. And now back live. The kickoff muffed by the Hawkeyes, picked up by Damon Gibson, and he's going nowhere. So Iowa will start back at its 7-yard line.
First and 10, Iowa.
Special teams letting Iowa down again. Another muffed kickoff return or attempted return here. Northwestern doing a good job of keeping Tim Dwight out of the game. He doesn't get the ball, he can't hurt you.
The touchdown moments ago by Northwestern. They got the Wildcats back in the game. There's head coach Gary Barnett. And it looks like he's been there before, huh?
And that's the attitude that this entire Northwestern team has taken. Be happy about it, but don't get so excited. Just take it as it comes.
Cedric Shaw's the tailback. He gets the call. Got a good block off the left side of the line, but only out to the 10-yard line. Ross Burba, the big left tackle, delivered the block at the point of attack and a gain of about 3. Back to the studio, Mike Leeson.
All right, Bama, Mississippi State, Wayne. Bama first in the SEC total defense, but Mississippi State's Derek Tate finds a soft spot at the back of the end zone. 9-0 first quarter, Bulldogs leading Alabama. Let's go back to Evanston, Illinois.
Well, there have been some heat on Jackie Sherrill down at Mississippi State. Perhaps today, his team will make a big stand for him. They're leading right now. Going to be up on 6 minutes to go in the first half. Willie Guy, the man in motion. Sherman still has it. And he gets rid of it. Incomplete. Northwestern that time brought some pressure. Casey Daly, the outside linebacker, chasing down the quarterback.
And the key from Northwestern is they brought pressure everywhere. It's very nice play action by Sherman, but the fact that Northwestern had so many people back there, you can't fool all of them. Sherman, being in the end zone wisely, throws the ball away. He knows where his guys are. He can't get it there. He also knows where the defense is, so he knows where to throw the ball away.
It is 3rd down and 7 now for the Iowa Hawkeyes. From their 10, Slutzker in motion. Cedric Shaw. Shaw unable to get the first down. Excellent open field tackle made by Chris Martin.
Well, last week, Wayne, Penn State went at Chris Martin 7, 8, 9 times. He rose to the occasion every time. What a big tackle he makes right here. Senior playing in his last home game came up with a big play, forced Iowa to punt, and what should give Northwestern pretty good field position.
Penalty markers down, hold up the play here.
No play.
Got a timeout called, I believe.
That's their 3rd timeout.
Timeout called by the Hawkeyes. Yes, no penalty. Thought I saw some laundry down on the field, but
Iowa was not very comfortable with what they saw Northwestern doing up front. Wisely, if that's the case, call the timeout instead of let Northwestern come after you and maybe block a punt. However, that is their last timeout. They have none left in this half.
We still have 5:21 to go first half. Hayden Fry and the Iowa Hawkeyes play on the lead, 14-10. The Wildcats are charging, and they've made a stand defensively, forcing Iowa into punt formation on 4th down from the Hawkeye 12.
Earlier, Wayne, we talked about the emotion Iowa was playing with, and can you sustain that for an entire half, much less an entire game? You get the sense being here that Northwestern has taken some of that emotion away from them and now is shifting over to their side.
So when we're ready to go, the Hawkeyes be kicking it away, and Musso back deep to receive. Ryan Musso, one of the leading punt returners in the Big Ten Conference. He said, you need two things to be a punt returner. You need courage and confidence. Courage to catch the darn thing, and confidence in your blockers up front and follow them to the hole, to daylight.
I think you need it in that order, too.
Here's the snap to Gallery, line drive kick, and this one, Musso makes the play on it at the 40. Nice move there. Ryan Musso will go all the way. Touchdown, Northwestern.
What a great play by Musso, Wayne. You just talked about him having the courage and the confidence. That ball is bouncing. Iowa's defenders are down there, yet he goes ahead and picks it up. He puts that first good move on, then he just uses his speed. Now watch this first move that he puts on right there to get by Dwight, and then the confidence in his blockers. They do a nice job. They give him that huge alley right there to run by.
60-yard punt return.
You just talked about the courage and confidence. It came through right on that play. Both of them did.
Brian Goins for the point after a high snap. They get it down, and the kick is good. 60-yard punt return for a touchdown by Brian Musso.
You know, you're not the 5th best team in the country if you don't get big plays from all parts of your team. Offense, defense, special teams. They haven't had a lot of the special teams.
The Northwestern scoring try.
This is a big one by the special team punt return right here.
And you said it best less than 5 minutes ago. The Iowa special teams have let them down big time so far in this first half, and that's why Northwestern now has rebounded from a 14-3 deficit into a 17-14 lead. And what a year, as you mentioned, for Northwestern. 7 straight wins. 4 home wins for the first time since back in 1971.
Camaro, please report to the first aid room.
Just an amazing season here, a turnaround year in this program.
You look at this one, forced a turnover in all 9 games. And yet they haven't turned the ball over very many times offensively.
Kicking off for Northwestern.
Coming into this game, Northwestern had 27 takeaways, generating 98 points overall. That's a lot of points and a lot of takeaways. Meanwhile, the offense had committed before today just 9 turnovers. Goins on the kickoff. This one through the end zone. Pretty strong kick when you consider he was kicking into the wind. And it'll be first down from the 20-yard line for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
It's amazing what momentum can do to a player. You get pumped up like that. You see your team responding. Now they've given you the lead. You go out there and you just kick the heck out of that ball.
So the challenge for Hayden Fry and his Iowa Hawkeyes is, how do you put it back together? They dominated this ball game in the first quarter, and halfway through the second had a 11-point lead at 14-3.
And Wayne, I think they need to do what Northwestern did. When Northwestern was down 14-3, they didn't abandon their game plan. They gave the ball to Autry. What Iowa has been doing offensively prior to that last drive, running the ball, had worked for them.
Tim Dwight is at the bottom of your screen. Straight ahead move here by the big fullback Michael Berger, and he's got close to the first down, gain of about 8 yards, 8 or 9. William Bennett made the stop on the play. Mike Berger playing place of the injured Rodney Filer, went down with a knee injury. Again, twisted knee, and they're possible he could play in the second half. Berger came on to take the fullback spot.
Berger has not been a big part of this Iowa offense with only 7 carries prior to this game. Filer has been the guy from the fullback position they wanted to give the ball to.
2 tight ends standing up near the line for Iowa. On second down, Sherman looks to deal deep. Going for Tim Dwight. Penalty markers down as Dwight is taken down on the coverage. It was double coverage near the 25-yard line of Northwestern, and the flags came flying.
Tim Dwight may be the fastest player on the field. He looked as though he was pretty well covered by Bennett and Collier, the 2 safeties, but as that ball was in the air, he just accelerated and was going right through them. The contact was made. Dwight couldn't quite get to the ball. Here as you see Sherman just waiting for Dwight to accelerate. Now, as you see, we'll pick it up here. You'll see Dwight just behind him and then going down with the contact that had already been made.
Bennett and Martin had the coverage, as you said, and again, a good play fake by that man, number 12, Matt Sherman, froze the linebackers, gave him plenty of time. You know, Ron Vanderlinden, the defensive coordinator for Northwestern, told us the key to stopping Iowa, really the big key to containing their big play offense, is stopping Timmy Dwight.
He has the longest play from scrimmage, both running and receiving, the longest kick return, the longest punt return. If it's got the word longest in it, it's probably got his name attached to it.
Off the penalty, first down, Hawkeyes at their 44-yard line. Play action again, a slip by the quarterback and a sack back inside the 35. Sherman lost his footing, and Casey Daly made sure he stayed down. Casey Daly came in untouched. I'm not sure if Sherman slipped. He would have been sacked anyway if it didn't slip.
Daly comes in unblocked. Iowa was counting on Daly to be fooled by the play action, to go with the back. When he didn't, there's nobody left there to block him. You have to do a heck of a job of selling that run if you're not going to block an outside linebacker defensive end.
10-yard loss on the play. Second down and 20. Sherman changing the play at the line. Boy, great pass protection. Great catch by Slutzker, the tight end. Close to the first down in Northwestern territory near the 48-yard line. It's a gain of about 18 yards.
They're not afraid to throw the ball to the tight end. If you're going to let your tight end get that deep down the field, you've got to have plenty of time to stand back there in the pocket. Sherman looking the entire field over, plenty of time to see everything and let things develop. And here Iowa is throwing the ball to Slutzker 18 yards down the field. You don't often see tight ends running out routes that deep. 3rd and 2 Hawkeyes. Slutzker in motion. Cedric Shaw pulling his way, and it appears he's got the first down, just short of the 45 of Northwestern. So both teams have had their streaks. Northwestern running off 14 unanswered points after falling behind Iowa. 14-3. William Bennett made the stop in the previous play, and we got another injured Hawkeye down on the field. This looks like Ross Verba, who just returned to the lineup. What you do sense here with this Iowa offense, Wayne, that you didn't have in the first quarter, is their attempt and success at making some big plays. They've thrown the ball deep to Dwight. Even though it wasn't complete, they got the interference out of it, and then they hit Slutzker for the 18-yard gain. So they're starting to open that offense up a little bit.
It is first down Iowa, and Ross Verba helped off the field, and we'll be right back after these words.
Chiropractic has been caring for families in the Springfield area for 27 years. Now we're expanding and welcome families in the Kettering area to experience skilled and attentive chiropractic care at our new clinic. Whatever your needs, Dobbins Beck Chiropractic is now here to treat injuries and provide health maintenance. And right now, your first examination is free. Dobbins Beck Chiropractic, now in the Kettering area. Call us today, feel better tomorrow.
Dobbins Beck, the
Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, Jim Barber back at Dyke Stadium in Evanston, Illinois.
In the first quarter, Michigan
As I mentioned, both teams have had their run. Iowa, 14 unanswered points to take a 14-3 lead. Northwestern, 14 unanswered points to take a 17-14 lead. And now Iowa from the 45 at Northwestern on the drive, trying to answer the onslaught of the Wildcats. First down. A little more diversity in the attack for the Hawkeyes here in this second quarter with the wind to their back. Willie Guy on the reception, a gain of about 5 yards.
Little change of pace for the Hawkeyes here. This time bringing Sherman out of the pocket, putting a little more pressure on those veteran corners. He throws the ball. The guy gets it there quickly, even though it doesn't look like a big gain. Still wound up being 5 yards.
2nd and 5 for the Hawkeyes. Matt Sherman, sophomore quarterback, St. Ansgar, Iowa. He got a slot to the top of the screen. Tim Dwight in the slot. Nothing there. Boy, they read that well defensively. They had several Iowa injuries in this ball game so far. Jim Barber, do you have an update for us on the latest?
Yeah, Wayne, if you're scoring at home, that's 4 Hawkeyes that have been injured today. Ross Verba, the most recent. You guys talked about how physical this game might be, and it is happening that way. Verba walked off, trying to walk off his ankle problems. That appeared to be the same problem for Bill Reardon earlier today. He is one of the other Hawkeyes offensive linemen, so the injuries are piling up. Just the same, Iowa tries to hang in there.
Well, Jim, Bill Reardon is the deep snapper on special teams for the Hawkeyes, so that may be something to keep an eye on. 3rd and about 4 for Iowa. Shaw going wide, looking to throw. And a man out there, but it's pretty well covered. And Chris Martin knocked it down. Tim Dwight, Willie Guy, the intended receiver. I should say the pass was thrown on the play by Tim Dwight. Willie Guy, the intended receiver.
Good coverage right here. Now you see the offensive receiver, Guy, changing over to defense to knock that ball down so that it doesn't get intercepted. Very well covered. Northwestern not fooled by at all. Dwight still just throws the ball up there. Guy makes a nice play to knock that down.
4th down now for the Hawkeyes and a long 4 yards to go. Cedric Shaw jumps back onto the field. Sherman calls the play at the line. Blitz. They pick it up pretty well. Sherman has time. Slutzker, the tight end, has got a first down and more. Slutzker inside the 10 to the 5 to the end zone and touchdown.
Sherman's pass is complete.
Wayne, if you ever get man-to-man coverage as a quarterback, the first thing you look for is the crossing route, because that's the guy that's running away from the cover guy. Sherman does a nice job, first of all, recognizing man-to-man, then looking to his tight end, who he has on the crossing route. All he has to do is lead him away from that defender. He does a nice job throwing it out there. Then it just becomes a foot race. Tight end against a strong safety. Collier, who grips him, almost brings him down. Slutzker just pulls him away, pulls into the end zone. That's just determination to get that ball into the end zone. Nice play by Slutzker there.
Ross Verba is the deep snapper now for Iowa, and
the point after
Zach Bromert puts it through the uprights.
The score,
no good.
20, Northwestern
Just
17.
missed getting it through the uprights. He appeared to pull it. And so the Iowa Hawkeyes miss an extra point, but have taken the lead by 3 over the Northwestern Wildcats with 1:31 to go in this first half.
Northwestern did not want to play a lot of man-to-man coverage today. They're more of a zone team out in the field, because when you play man-to-man against an offense like Iowa, you tend to give up the big plays. However, when you blitz, you have to change things up. One of the risks that you run, that time Northwestern guessed and guessed wrong.
No good.
A winter glow to the landscape here in mid-November in Evanston. Product of about 3 inches of snow early this morning. And there is Matt Sherman and Coach Gary Barnett. His team's ridden a roller coaster here today in this ball game.
Oh, not at all. They have, I agree with you. I mean, they have a defense that's 3rd nationally, giving up just over 12 points a game. They've already given up 20 here in the first half.
That's right. Northwestern #1 in the conference in fewest points allowed per game.
Now, 7 of those came on the interception return. But still, that's 13 points that Iowa's put together with some long drives.
Brian Hurley set to kick off. Twin safeties ready to receive. And they're going to need some help once again. That wind has made a couple of kicks here today.
Northwestern, if they can get a big return, there's only a minute and a half to go, and they don't have a passing offense that can spread the field and move the ball, especially into this wind in that short amount of time. They need a big return to give them very good field position if they hope to get some points on the board before the half.
Art Hurley set to go. Eric Thigpen helps him out by holding the football. And the kick bounds across the 10-yard line. The return men slipped on the play, Adrian Autry. And Adrian Autry going to be short of his 11-yard line. The market right about at the 11, where it'll be a first down for the Northwestern Wildcats. And again, a minute 25 left to go in this first half of play. Wildcats have 2 timeouts remaining.
Northwestern ends their own 11-yard line.
I wouldn't expect Northwestern to do anything extravagant here. As we said, they're going into this long wind. It is this hard wind. They've got a long way to go. They may be content just to give the ball to Autry here and see if he can make something happen.
The Iowa scoring drive, as Randy mentioned, they've gone on some long drives. That took a little less time than the other drives, but nonetheless got the job done. Darnell Autry straight up the middle. Lloyd Bickham in the middle of the Iowa defense, the nose tackle. Forced it back on the play. Pickup of about 3 yards.
This is where, if you're Iowa, you wished you hadn't burned those 3 timeouts earlier in the half, because you could call these timeouts and force Northwestern to either make a first down or have to punt into this one.
So it'll be second down now for the Northwestern Wildcats. Iowa leading 20-17. In what has been an entertaining back and forth contest here thus far this afternoon. That's Dwayne Bates at the bottom of your screen. But they'll keep it on the ground. One of the best in the country, Darnell Autry. He just hasn't had a whole lot of room to run for the most part today. Gains about a yard there, leaving a third down coming up. And under half a minute to go in this first half.
Iowa's defense, as you said, Wayne, they've done a nice job of containing him. He's got a couple of plays that he's broken open, but for the most part, they've done a nice job shutting him down.
Bobby Diaco in the middle of that Iowa linebacking core. The Hawkeyes have come in here to Evanston. And as we hit intermission, it is the unranked visitors from Iowa City who lead the 5th-ranked team in the nation 20-17. To the studio and Mike Gleason.
All right, thanks a lot, Wayne. Should be a fantastic second 30 minutes in Evanston, 20-30.
Morning. Iowa has a 20-17 lead over Northwestern, and Randy, right in this ball game, I think we've seen the product of all the rhetoric that went into this game. A lot of counter charges and charges of running up scores and everything else. Both teams have had their 14-point runs, and now we're settling into a football game.
I agree with you. There was a lot of emotion early in the game. That has settled down. Now they're being able to play football, and I think if you look at what they're doing on the field, Northwestern has got to be surprised with the success Iowa's had so far.
Iowa's executed very well up front. Let's look at some of the highlights. We had an explosive at times first half here this afternoon. Take a look at this. Northwestern on the attack. Steve Schnurr, one of the best in the business at taking care of the football. This pass a little bit high off the hands of Matt Hartle, and it's returned by Tom Knight of Iowa. He's got a convoy down the sidelines of the end zone for a touchdown that gave Iowa a 14-3 lead at that point. Northwestern able to strike back. They take the lead on this play. Brian Musso takes it off the hop. Nice play here. Now watch the move. He keeps his balance, eludes one defender, takes it straight ahead, and we're talking about confidence that he has in his blocking, and then he executes beautifully all the way for the touchdown. 60 yards, Northwestern leading by 3. Iowa comes back late in the first half. Matt Sherman looking for his tight end, Scott Slutsker. Slutsker crossing across the field, makes the reception and starts running away from people down the sideline. The extra point was missed, and that could hurt Iowa in the end, perhaps, if this game is close down the stretch, but it's 20-17. First half stats now. time of possession heavily in favor of Iowa. Much of that was accomplished early in this ball game. In the first quarter, Iowa came out and dominated.
And you look at some of the plays that they've run in the rushing yards. If rushing yards only 58 for Northwestern, they need to get the ball to Autry more than that.
All right, let's get back down to the sidelines and Jim Barber. Jim?
And it is hard to believe the 20 points the Wildcats have given up in this game so far, the most they've given up in a Big Ten game all season long. Couple things to keep in mind. Both teams seem to feel comfortable with the passing game. The win is not being as much a factor, and here in the second half, they may feel an opportunity to put it up again. And of course, the win will be a factor down the stretch when it comes to the special teams and the field goal kicking, but it is not as blustery as it was when we started today's game.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Iowa Hawkeyes will be kicking it away to the Northwestern Wildcats to start the second half of play. Romano on to do the kicking now. Brian Hurley had been doing it earlier. Adrian Autry on the far side of your screen there a moment ago. Principal deep back. Josh Barnes also deep. And we're set to go. Kick comes to Josh Barnes near the 10. Barnes hits the hole hard across the 25. He's out near the 30-yard line where it'll be a first down for the Northwestern Wildcats.
Down by Aaron Crankquist and J.P. Lang.
The Northwestern Wildcats, led by their veteran quarterback, Steve Schnur. Schnur in that first half of play. 2 of 5, 36 yards, had a touchdown and an interception.
Coming soon in your mail.
Northwestern only ran 21 plays in that first half. If you're only running 21 plays, you don't get many chances to throw. That's why I only had 5 pass attempts.
Bates and Beasley form a slot to the near side. Darnell Autry, and again outside of basically 2 runs, and they came consecutively, a 27-yard run and a 9-yard run. It's been tough for Autry to get yardage here today.
That's one reason, Wayne, why the play-action pass for the touchdown to Drexler worked so well. They have shut down Autry, especially the inside running game. That's why Northwestern went to that play-action. That opened up. I think they need to do that a little bit more, especially if you're going into the wind, that shorter passing game, in order to get those linebackers playing a little deeper from the line of scrimmage.
It is 2nd and 6 Northwestern. Looked like the Hawkeyes violated the neutral zone. Contact may have been made. Lloyd Bickham jumped across, and I think he made contact on the play with Rob Johnson, the center for the Northwestern Wildcats, and that's why the officials held up the play.
You can see Bickham right there, right over the center, just jumps early. Steve Schnur doing a nice job of changing his cadence and drawing him off sides.
Contact, 5 defense, 5-yard penalty.
Always nice to do that right off the bat to start the second half. The team with the lead, they come out the second half, they're playing pretty well. They've got some momentum, some enthusiasm, and you get them to jump early like that, pick up a quick 5 yards.
A little bit of the story on Darnell Autry. He had 55 yards at halftime on 14 carries. If you subtract the 2 big runs he had, the 27-yarder and the 9-yarder, it's 19 yards and 12 carries. Give you an idea of what it's been like for him today. More tough sledding in the middle of the Iowa defense. And they are close to the first down. They only needed a yard to get it.
They're doing a nice job. As you look at the entire defense, the outside linebackers are coming in. You see Bennett, number 49, go right by that. But when the outside backers come in, they take away that outside cut that Autry could do. So he has to stay inside the tackle. When you eliminate the outside threat, your inside backers can do a much better job of containing it.
Number 56 in the middle of your screen right there. Vernon Rollins has played big here this afternoon from the word go in this game. It is a first down for Northwestern. Rollins has been in on what seems like just about every tackle here this afternoon for the Iowa defense. Football just across the 43, and Schnur to the air. Wide open, Bates to the Iowa 36-yard line. First down, Northwestern. Ed Gibson made the tackle in the deep secondary of the Hawkeyes. 22-yard gain.
Watch the linebackers stay at the line of scrimmage with the play action. They don't drop back. Diaco and Rollins, they come up. When they don't get back, there's nobody underneath Bates, number 5 right here. It's a very easy passing lane. So as a defense, you've got to be able to mix things up. If you're going to play the run every play, that's where the offense is going to attack you.
So the Wildcats on the first drive of the second half. To the Hawkeye 36, and Autry gets the call. Autry pulled back by Vernon Rollins. Once again, LaFleur was also there. A gain of maybe 3 yards, just inside the 34 of Iowa.
Rollins, you mentioned earlier, he's been very, very big today. We isolate here. The run's coming right at him. He fights off the blockers, creates the room, and is standing right there. Not only does he make the tackle, but he's got enough upper body strength to pull Autry backwards, keep him from falling forward.
We're in the opening 3 minutes of the second half. Northwestern trailing by 3. And the Wildcats on a first down near the 33-yard line of Iowa. Bates on a reverse, and it's well executed. Bates inside the 20 to a first down. Northwestern near the 16-yard line. Ed Gibson made the stop.
That was set up beautifully by the Northwestern offense. As Bates got the ball, there was only 1 Iowa defender and 4 offensive players for Northwestern out there. Watch Nurse sell this all the way, shows the ball, and as he gets Bates, everybody from Iowa is on this side of the hash mark. There's only 1 Iowa defender, and he does a nice job of tying up the blockers and causing Bates to adjust his run until Gibson can come over and make the tackle.
Now the Wildcats on a first down. Football just outside the 12-yard line of Iowa. Autry has a seam. And he's close to a first down near the 7-yard line of Iowa. Gain of almost 10 yards. Mick Mulhern made the stop.
Big plays can come in many ways, Wayne, and a little trickery by the Northwestern offense, usually conservative, can add some excitement to the rest of your team. That time, looked like their offensive line really came off the ball and opened up a big hole in the middle, a rare opening for Autry to run through.
Gain of about 9 yards, 2nd and 1. Hartle in motion. Autry, first down and goal to go inside the 5, near the 3-yard line of Iowa. Again, Vernon Rollins in on that stop for Iowa. Ed Gibson also there.
Northwestern did a little something different there. They brought Hartle, the fullback, in motion, but instead of letting him get all the way to the outside, they snapped it when he was right behind the center and let him lead the blocking through from that position.
Northwestern trying to send a message in the early going 3rd quarter. First and goal at the Iowa 3. That's Hartle in motion. Autry, well blocked off the right side, virtually untouched to the end zone for the touchdown. And in a seesaw affair here in Dyke Stadium, Northwestern retakes the lead. Just tremendous execution up front, Randy.
Well, we talked earlier about Hartle coming in motion and blocking right there. This time they let him slide to the outside, and look at that hole opened up by that offensive line. There's not an Iowa jersey close to Autry until he gets well into the end zone.
Brian Goins for the point after. And with 11:08 left to go in this, the 3rd quarter, the Northwestern Wildcats are back in front. This touchdown capping the drive for the lead, 24-20.
There's the Northwestern scoring drive.
Here's the kickoff. Ed Gibson makes the catch on it. And he's short of the 20-yard line. Ismaeli, Hudhaifa Ismaeli made the stop for Northwestern along with Josh Barnes. The Northwestern offense, Randy, was highlighted by a big play.
Well, this is not real familiar for what Northwestern does. They don't run a lot of trick plays, but when they do, they make them effective. And this was called at a very good time, and it spurred this team on, gave them some excitement to come off the ball, and it led to this touchdown right here by Autry.
First down for the Hawkeyes, just short of their 20-yard line to the 19. Cedric Shaw cut down across the 20 to the 21, a gain of a couple.
Eric Collier on the stop for
on the Northwestern scoring drive to send a message at the outset of the second half. 69 yards and 8 plays, 7 on the ground.
So many times this year, Wayne, Northwestern's offense, when they've needed to put points on the board, have done that. They've got a long drive, most of it on the ground, that resulted in a touchdown. Now their defense needs to respond to start the second half the first time they take the field, same way their offense did.
Second down and 8, Iowa. Tim Dwight comes to the bottom of your screen. Sherman making the call at the line, and he doesn't have time. Penalty markers down. They were trying to get a change in the play right at the line of scrimmage. He ran out of time on the play clock. Let's get on to the sideline. Jim Barber on the Gary Barnett philosophy.
Wayne, it's interesting. When Gary first got here and Northwestern was still struggling in football, he told everybody that in order to get this thing going, it's like hammering away at a boulder. You're going to keep doing it every day. You're going to be taking your punches, and it'll seem like you're not making any progress. And then one day, the boulder will split in half, and everything will be all speed ahead. Isn't it interesting? He uses boulder as an analogy because that's where he got his coaching going with the Colorado Buffaloes.
Good point, Boulder, Colorado. Boy, they turned that program around. That program was 1-10, and they were 3 years into the mission when they were 1-10.
They gave them the opportunity to stay there long enough to do that.
Sherman's got a man open, Price the tight end, and a short gain. Ismaeli forced him out near the 23-yard line. And it will be for Iowa coming up a third down. Ron Vanderlinden was a young pup on that staff. Coach Bill McCartney out at Colorado back in the early and mid-1980s. These are some of the people who have emerged as head coaches now. Vanderlinden's the defensive coordinator here at Northwestern, but look at the list of head coaches off of that staff.
On the play, 3rd and 7.
Very successful programs those coaches have led.
Third down for Iowa. Sherman again calling the play at the line. Northwestern in a blitz. Ismaeli pressures the quarterback. Intercepted by Fitzgerald, but he trapped it incomplete. Pat Fitzgerald almost had a pick at the 35-yard line of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Fourth down for Iowa.
One thing that Northwestern did was they wanted to try and make Sherman audible by showing him different fronts. This time, Ismaeli comes up, shows the blitz, forces Sherman into the audible, but then the team drops back into the zone coverage. They really fooled him that time.
Nick Gallery with the wind to his back. Musso back deep. He's already taken one the distance today. Martin almost got that punt. Musso allows it to roll out of bounds inside the 25 where Northwestern will put it in play. Just short of their 23. When we resume, Dyke Stadium, Evanston, Illinois. The Hawkeyes on the road trailing by 4.
Back in the Big Ten studios, Florida State, North Carolina. Danny Cannell, 9 straight 300-yard passing games. Cannell goes to 7. Andre Cooper and a touchdown. Third quarter now, Florida State 28-6 over North Carolina. Let's go back to Evanston.
Right here, Iowa trailing Northwestern 24-20, and the Wildcats taking over near their 23-yard line. Now, we talked about the wind, and Northwestern is going into a wind that's gusting up to about 30 miles per hour here in this quarter. But look at this. Northwestern with the wind 27 yards, against the wind 125. Go figure.
I think it's important too that they control the ball here because this is the quarter Iowa has the wind.
Darnell Autry escapes to the outside, out to the 28-yard line on a gain of about 5 yards. Mulhern makes the stop, and again that linebacker Vernon Rollins having a big afternoon here today. Very active.
Back to what we were talking about, Wayne, with that wind. If Northwestern could put together another long drive and take some of this time off the clock, you keep the ball away from that Iowa offense, which has the wind at its back right now.
That's Musso in the slot. Beasley, the wide man, to the bottom of your screen. Second down and about 5. Schnurr, play action. Got a man open over the middle. It is Beasley. First down at the Northwestern 48-yard line. Tom Knight made the stop for the Hawkeyes, a 20-yard gain.
Excellent protection that time for Schnurr. Play action pass again, and again it's the crossing route that is hurting Iowa. When you come up and you play the run, again, this is where the opening is. You still have to throw and catch it, and both these players do an excellent job of doing that. Schnurr throws the strike. Beasley's there for the catch.
Autry, the lone setback on a first down for Schnurr.
Blitz by Iowa, and Autry is captured near the line of scrimmage. Once again, Vernon Rollins made the stop for Iowa. Virtually no gain. Second down coming up for Northwestern.
One of the things that Northwestern has been able to do very well is when you haven't gotten a lot of yards on first down, because of Autry and his ability to make some plays, they haven't panicked. They've stayed within their system. Today, though, they haven't gotten much on first or second down because Iowa's done a good job of shutting down Autry.
Waterman and Musso form a slot to the top of your screen. The tailback, Darnell Autry, once again hit near the line of scrimmage. This time, John LaFleur pursued on the play. Back to the studio, and Mike Gleason.
Okay, Wayne, Virginia, Maryland, knotted up at 11-11. The Virginia driving. Kevin Brooks takes the pitch. A walk in the park for Brooks. 5 yards, touchdown. Cavaliers back on top, 18-11. Let's go back to Wayne and Randy.
Thank you, Mike. And again, right here. Northwestern leading by 4, and the Wildcats facing third down. A little bit less than 10 yards to go. This is not a great offense on third down. Schnurr sacked back inside the 45. You saw the third down conversion rate by Northwestern. Very unusual that a team that is 8-1 would have a conversion rate of about 30%. This is what Schnurr wanted to do. He wanted to get to this receiver at the top of your screen.
Excellent coverage by Tom Knight, number 8 there. Also, as the receiver falls down, that really catches Schnurr off balance. He has to step up in the pocket. It looks like he got a little banged off as he was limping as he came off the field that time.
Paul Burton on in punt formation. Northwestern 0 for 5 and third down conversions. Ball caroms out of on the sidelines. Has stayed in play and takes it a Northwestern roll. And it'll be down just short of the 18-yard line. Got a break in the action here in Evanston. 6:27 to go for the third.
Domino's cars, trucks, or vans. It can be a smart way to get what you want. At lease end, you may release or buy it. So invest in Z-Bart rust protection to keep your vehicle in top shape till you decide. Because rust is on the way, and the manufacturer's warranty won't stop it. These cars had manufacturer's warranties. Right now, save $50 on Z-Bart rust protection from just $299.95. Ask about Protect-A-Shine paint sealant. See your Z-Bart Tidy Car dealer soon. We're in the white pages.
Winter kind of day here in Evanston. The Iowa Hawkeyes trailing by 4. Take over first down at their 18-yard line. 6:27 to go in the third. Cedric Shaw.
Cedric Shaw, the ball carrier.
Rice made the stop on the play near the 22-yard line, a gain of about 4. I mentioned Northwestern struggling on third downs. I believe I said 0 for 6. They are actually 1 for 6 on third down conversions. Yet they have the lead. But that's been the way they've been all season long. It's just very unusual to see a team this successful only getting 30% conversions on third downs. Second down for the Hawkeyes. To the fullback. They've tried to fake that pitch a couple of times and fake the toss to Shaw and then give it to the fullback, and Berger gets maybe a yard here.
One of the reasons Northwestern has been struggling on third down, Wayne, is because their first down yardage has been so bad. When you've got second and long, you still want to give the ball to Autry as much as you can, but if that running play doesn't work, now you've got third and long. So that's been as much of the problem.
Third down, and it's about 4 for Iowa. Almost 5 yards. Sherman, lots of time. Got a first down to Slutzker, the tight end, and he's out near the 31-yard line. Slutzker, the tight end, who came into this afternoon's game with 28 receptions.
Take a look at this from Pat Fitzgerald, number 51. What he sees, you see Sherman dropping back. He's dropping into his zone. Sherman takes a very deep drop this time, lets things develop, finds Slutzker right there open between the two Northwestern players, gets the ball to him, just enough yards for the first down.
So the Hawkeyes move the chains to the 31-yard line in their own territory. They have 5 minutes with which to work here in this third period, and they've got a pretty good wind to their back. Play being changed at the line now by Sherman once again, and he gets it off just in time. Quick throw into the flat. Tim Dwight. Chris Martin steers him out of bounds near the 36 on a gain of 4.
Good play by Sherman this time. Last time he thought Northwestern was going to blitz. He audibles, he gets fooled. This time he audible to just a quick out. It's a high percentage pass. If you guess wrong, it still can be a positive play because you can still pick up 4 or 5 yards. If you guess right, then maybe your player makes a big play out of it. Either way, positive things can happen.
2nd down and 4. Price, a tight end in motion. Cedric Shaw. Oh, Price missed the block that time on Jeff Shine, and Shine makes the stop. A loss of a couple of yards.
Tough to run the outside sweep play from the right hash mark. You're going into the short side of the field. Price came through to get the block, but the ball was snapped a little bit early, and he couldn't quite get around in order to kick Shine out. Shine came right in there. Shine did a nice job of holding him up till the rest of the pursuit came.
Pat Fitzgerald, the heart and soul of the Northwestern defense, is down on the field. Orland Park, Illinois, South Side, Irish Catholic, and one of Gary Barnett's first recruits.
You said that right. He's the heart and soul not only on the field, but the leadership that he provides for them.
Let's get back to the studio while they tend to Pat Fitzgerald, get an update on Purdue, Michigan with Mike Gleason.
Okay, Wayne, Michigan failing on 4th and inches inside the 5-yard line. Purdue's football, but Trevsker goes down. That's Clarence Thompson with the sack and the safety. 5-0 Michigan. Michigan batting in the bottom of the 7th inning. Let's go back to Evanston.
And whoever's pitching for him has a shutout going. Fitzgerald is helped up, and looks like it's a problem with his left leg.
He's putting just a little bit of pressure on it. Tried to, and then couldn't quite do that.
Fitzgerald emerging from the south side of Chicago, and a linebacker tradition that includes names like Nitschke and Butkus. Fitzgerald next year will be a candidate for the Butkus Award. He was not nominated this year. Heck, he was only a part-time starter last year. He has really come into his own this year, and this is junior season at Northwestern out of Carl Sandburg High School.
And so many of those Northwestern players last year hadn't quite developed, were part-time players, sometimes were part-time starters, but have really developed this year and become stars for them.
And of course, I mentioned Nitschke and Butkus. They both went downstate to Illinois. Fitzgerald stayed up here in Chicagoland and elected to try to help Gary Barnett turn around a Northwestern football program. 3rd down, and it's almost 7 yards to go. Sherman got a man open. Richard Carter on a diving grab for a first down at the 44-yard line of Iowa. Boy, that was a tough catch by Carter.
Tough catch, as you said, Wayne, and a great throw, too. Sherman takes a quick drop right here. Doesn't hold on to the ball for long. Throws the ball right as Carter makes his break. That way the defensive back doesn't have enough time to close and get there before the ball does. Carter goes down, makes a tough catch, hangs onto the ball on this very hard surface.
Absolutely. That ball going away from the receiver at that point, and he went and got it. First down, Iowa at the 44. Cedric Shaw with authority to the 50-yard line, and a gain of 6 yards.
This drive, you see Iowa mixing things up better than they have in some of their earlier possessions. They're throwing the ball to the outside, they're running it to the outside, yet they're always going back to that inside run, which has been the most successful play they've had. They can continue to mix things up like that. That's where their success has come, and they tend to think that's where it's going to continue to come.
Shaw has averaged almost 4 yards a pop against the Wildcats in his career. 2nd down and 4. Slutzker in motion. Shaw again. Tripped up short of the first down to the 47-yard line, a gain of 3 yards. It was Matt Rice who made the hit.
Nice tackle by Rice. It looked as though Shaw was going to have a lot more running room than what he actually picked up. Rice was going down, reaches out there with his arm, does a nice job of wrapping up his feet, tripping him up.
Under 3 minutes to go. Shaw over 100 yards now, 31 carries, 106 yards. We are third period of play. Northwestern leading by 4. Another third down for the Hawkeyes on this drive. Slutzker, the man in motion. Shaw gets the call. A good read to take it to the outside, and he picks up 2 yards, enough for the first down to the 45-yard line. Danny Sutter led the charge from the linebacking core of Northwestern.
Part of being a good back is knowing how far you need to go for the first down. You get an excellent line surge right here by Iowa. And Shaw, knowing he only needs a couple of yards, doesn't continue to bust it outside, takes what the line has given him, which is enough for the first down.
Should be pointed out, Don Holmes, a sophomore linebacker from, again, the south side of the Chicagoland area, South Holland, Illinois, has replaced Pat Fitzgerald in the middle of the Northwestern defense. First down to the 45 of the Wildcats for the Hawkeyes. They fake the toss, and Berger has running room to a first down to the 34. Rodney Ray made the stop on Michael Berger, who wears number 85, and at 6'3" and 235 pounds, looks more like a tight end than a fullback.
When your focus from Northwestern's defensive point of view has been on Shaw, you fake the sweep and you run a little misdirection play back. You see the entire Northwestern defense thinking wide. There's nobody there to react to it, and that's why Berger got so many yards.
Ed Sherman's a pretty good ball handler back there.
He's doing a very nice job of hiding the ball.
Shaw fights to the 30, gain of 4 to the sidelines. Jim Barber.
Okay, Wayne, they're still working on the left ankle of Pat Fitzgerald. Seems to be in some discomfort. Obviously, he wants to get back in the game, being the heart and soul of Northwestern. But right now, the left ankle is being attended to, and he is in some discomfort.
I would expect to take 2 or 3 doctors and trainers, and maybe a couple of bouncers to keep Pat Fitzgerald out of this ball game with just an ankle.
Why do you think that as long as there's a roll of tape on their sideline, he's going to be back in the game?
It's just a matter of when. Second down at 6. Again, they run the fullback right up the belly for about 3 yards to the 27-yard line. Matt Rice makes the stop on the play. A minute left to go now in the third period. Northwestern hanging on to a 4-point lead, but Iowa on the move.
This is where the pressure really falls to Matt Rice and Joe Reef, the 2 interior linemen for Northwestern. With Fitzgerald being out of there and Don Holmes, just a sophomore, stepping in, those interior linemen have to do an excellent job of keeping the offensive lineman off of that linebacker so he can make the play.
Another third down for the Hawkeyes. 3rd and 3 at the Northwestern 27. Cedric Shaw wedging his way short of the first down. He got down to the 25. It'll be 4th and 1 for the Hawkeyes. Don Holmes filled from the linebacking core, from the middle linebacker spot. He's playing in place of Pat Fitzgerald. We get late word now that they want to x-ray that ankle.
You have to gang tackle Cedric Shaw. For a guy that's as quick as he is, he's got ability to run over you. It's hard to bring him down one-on-one. Did a nice job of gang tackling.
Third period winds to a close. They switch sides. Gary Barnett and the Northwestern Wildcats leading by 4 as we head to the 4th. Boy, hard work pays off for Jim Barber down on the sidelines. As we head to the 4th period of play, Northwestern leads Iowa 24-20. And the Iowa Hawkeyes facing a 4th down. A yard to go at the 25-yard line of Northwestern.
Big play right here. They've been having success running the ball in between the tackles. Shaw's the guy that can run over some people. If he gets it, Northwestern needs to gang tackle him with 2 or 3 players.
Tim DeWhite is the lone wide receiver in the game. Double tight end standing up on the line. Northwestern shows blitz. Shaw. Big hit in the hole off the left side of the line, but he's got enough for the first down to the 23-yard line. So the Iowa Hawkeyes, who have executed up front very well here today. Cedric Shaw lowered the shoulder and picked up enough yardage for the first down.
Big hole right there. Northwestern's defense had a chance to make a big play and let their offense take the field with the lead. Instead, Iowa's offensive line takes over, as they have most of today. running the ball effectively, giving Shaw the holes. Did a nice job right there.
Shaw got that last few inches by lowering his shoulder and going forward. First down. Shaw waiting for the block. He tried to set up around the block by Derek Price, and he got maybe 2 yards to the 21-yard line. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Much of what we see Northwestern do offensively with the play action, attacking over the middle, Iowa set themselves up in a pretty good position to do so because they've been running inside so much. The linebackers have to be conscientious for that. Northwestern, or if you're Iowa, this may be a good time. Play action pass, hit one of those receivers over the middle.
We're in the opening minute of the 4th quarter. It has been a seesaw battle here today. Northwestern leading by 4. 2nd and 8, Iowa. Willie Guy in motion. A slip, and then a hit. Penalty marker down as well. The penalty marker may be for a hold, but the quarterback was down anyway. Matt Sherman lost his footing at the 31-yard line. A loss of 10.
Iowa trying to use that play action, had some receivers downfield, and as Sherman comes back, just falls down. And I agree with you, Wayne. I think it's going to be an illegal block, a little clip right there against Iowa. Which is really going to back them up.
Yes, sir.
Northwestern may refuse this penalty because it was the same, a 10-yard loss, and it cost them the down.
Yeah, they spotted it as a 9-yard loss to the 30-yard line, but nonetheless.
Loss of 9 on the play.
3rd down now for the Iowa Hawkeyes. 3rd and long. About 17 yards to go.
And if you're Matt Sherman going into this win, you don't have to get it all on this play. If it's there, great. If not, take what they give you.
Tim Dwight is at the top of your screen. Damon Gibson on the bottom. Sherman, a deep drop. Pass undershot. Cedric Shaw. Pressure provided by the Northwestern rush. Matt Rice was forcing the line back, and then it was Casey Daly. Came up from the outside to force the quarterback, and it is a 4th down for Iowa.
Excellent pressure, as you said, by the front 4 for Northwestern. They didn't come with Ismaeli and some of the linebackers like they usually do. They only rushed with 4, still got the pressure on Sherman, forced him to throw the ball early. Good coverage in their secondary.
The Hawkeyes are 4th and 17, and they're going for it at the 30-yard line of Northwestern. And again, if you're thinking field goal, no chance into the kind of win they'd be kicking into. Sherman on 4th down. He's got a man, Tim Dwight. The pass wide of the mark. The coverage provided by Eric Collier, and it is 1st down Northwestern going the other way.
Ron Vanderlinden said yesterday they wanted to make Sherman throw the ball on a line when he throws it deep. He didn't think that he was as accurate as when he lobs that ball over the middle, and there's much more room for error. That time, good coverage by Collier. He was very tight to Tim Dwight. That forced Sherman to throw it on a line, and he was inaccurate.
So Northwestern takes over at the Wildcat 30-yard line, leading by 4 with 13:23 to go in the 4th.
Come on, Dave! Come on, baby!
Waterman and Bates form a slot to the bottom of your screen. That is Bates in motion. Hawkeyes on a blitz with Rollins up the middle, and Rollins guns down the running back, Darnell Autry. Loss of almost 2 yards back near the 28-yard line.
Rollins is really, as you have said many times, making a name for himself. Bobby Diaco came in as the 2nd leading tackler in the Big Ten. They're doing a pretty good job of keeping him away from the ball. It's Rollins that's giving him a lot of trouble.
13 tackles now for Vernon Rollins, the linebacker for the Iowa Hawkeyes. 2nd down, 12 yards to go.
A lot of those tackles are coming behind the line of scrimmage, too. They're not deep into his own territory.
Schnurr on the roll. Penalty markers are down. Schnurr's out of bounds near the 31-yard line on a gain of about 3 yards.
Good play by Schnurr not to force that ball and just to run out of bounds. I think we're going to have a penalty here against Northwestern, which is going to back them up deeper into their own territory.
Holding the call against Northwestern.
Steve Schnurr does not break the pocket and scramble around like that very often. Your offensive linemen get used to him either being in the pocket to throw the ball or on a bootleg. As he breaks here, catches the offensive lineman off guard, he gets held right there. Bickham does. And then outside, you'll see Hartle also holding on to George Bennett, outside linebacker. So there are a couple of fouls right there.
So the penalty backs up Northwestern inside its 15 at the 13-yard line.
27.
Second in a bunch. Hayden Fry on the Iowa Hawk sidelines. There's a look at the penalty situation. Second and 27. Schnurr under pressure immediately. Just throws it away, incomplete. Autry was in the vicinity. He had vacated the pocket anyway and just threw it away. Very smart move. Immediate pressure provided by Jared DeVries, who leads the Hawkeyes with 12 tackles behind the line of scrimmage this season.
Northwestern trying to set up that screen, get the ball to Autry and let him find some room to run. Iowa read it very early, got underneath there, and there was no place for Schnurr to throw the ball. The screen is there right away, or it's not going to be there at all. So if it's not open when you're ready to throw it, you got to throw the ball away, which Schnurr did.
Northwestern, 3rd and 27. They're not going to get healthy doing 3rd and 27s. Autry. It's a nice chunk of yardage, but not nearly enough. Out across the 20 to the 23 or 24-yard line. Rollins again made the stop on the play. And it's 4th down for Northwestern. The Wildcats 1 of 7 on 3rd down conversions. Yet they continue to lead in this game.
Well, again, as you said, 3rd down giving them trouble. Their best chance for the big plays to give it to Autry. And even though it didn't pick up the 1st down, it does give their punting team more room to operate and pushes Iowa another 8 or 9 yards farther back, which makes their offense have to go that much farther.
Paul Burton Jr. punt formation. Nice spiral. And this ball takes a Northwestern hop inside the 40 of the 38-yard line. Iowa's offense will get it back. We're 4th period, 11:44 to go in the 4th. 4 to go in the game. Northwestern leading by 4. Iowa gets it back. I'd like to thank all of our technicians and camera people and the Big Ten crew weathering the storm this morning and now persevering through, well, I guess single-digit wind chill factors on the field. Play action. Sherman going deep. Intercepted on the play by Chris Martin, and Northwestern takes over. Well, it amounts to nothing more than a punt. But the fact is, you only ran one offensive play in that series. The interception as Sherman overshot Tim Dwight.
Trying to catch Northwestern think and run and forcing the deep play to Dwight. This ball was just thrown, hung up there in the wind. And Wayne, teams week after week try and attack Chris Martin, and he just continues to be there and make the plays.
I tell you, I don't understand it. I think this kid's possibly a first-team All-Big Ten quarterback.
His coach, Ron Vanderlingen, would sure agree with you.
Northwestern on a 1st down. Darnell Autry rambles for about 6 yards to the 29. Back to the studio, Mike Gleason.
All right, Wayne, Miami, Boston College Hurricanes by 14. 4th and goal for BC. Mark Hartzell to Steve Everson. He fights his way into the end zone. And it's Canes over the Eagles, 14-7 in the 4th. Let's go back to Evanston.
It's been a long year for both of those programs. Miami not accustomed to the kind of season they're going through, and BC really struggling. 2nd down. And about 4 yards to go. Autry has running room. 1st down and more. Out near the 37-yard line of Northwestern. 1st down. And there it is. Another 100 yards for Darnell Autry, and it's been tough in coming today. He has gotten nothing easy.
No, he's got a couple of plays that he has broken for some big gainers, but they just continue to give it to him and give it to him. And when you have a back of his ability, you can contain him for a while. It's hard to contain him for the entire 60 minutes.
Autry last week against Penn State, 139 yards and 36 carries and 3 touchdowns. Not bad against that defense. Autry hit at the point of attack. Nonetheless, Autry crashes his way for 4 yards.
We talked about his durability. He had 291 carries coming into today's game, this being his 28th carry today. And he seems to just get better the more chances you give him the ball. He breaks a tackle by Diaco and then lowers his shoulders and runs over some of those smaller defensive backs falling forward. Watch him lower his shoulder right there and just deliver the blow to Ed Gibson, number 26. Ouch.
Second down. Yeah, ouch is right, especially at a cold day like this. Schnurr. Diving attempt made by the fullback, Matt Hartle. And it'll be a 3rd down.
Good play action in the backfield, but Schnurr had Hartle open a little bit earlier. It looked as though he waited too long for Hartle to get too deep into the secondary. And by the time he throws it, leading Hartle all the way across, he throws him into coverage.
3rd down coming up, 3rd and 6 now for the Northwestern Wildcats. And as we mentioned, they're about 1 of 7 on 3rd down conversions now. 3rd and 6 here. Schnurr. And that's a 1st down. Diving grab, Dave Beasley. At the 44-yard line of Iowa, the drive continues for Northwestern.
We saw Sherman do it for Iowa. Now you see Schnurr. The first thing you look for with man-to-man coverage is the crossing route. This time Schnurr picks up Beasley on a crossing route, running away from the man-to-man coverage. Beasley does a nice job going down and catching the ball for a key 3rd down conversion.
Only the 2nd one of the day for Northwestern. At the 44 of Iowa. Got back to the line of scrimmage and not much more. Let's go back down to the sidelines. Jim Barber's got an update on the injured Northwestern linebacker Pat Fitzgerald.
Okay, going to follow up the examination of Fitzgerald that you guys mentioned moments ago. The first fears were that he had broken his ankle. The good news is that is not the situation. Apparently the ankle is bruised. He can move the ankle, but still undergoing further examination as we speak.
Thank you very much, Jim. 2nd down here. They did not give him a generous spot of the ball on that last carry. 2nd down, it's almost 11 yards to go. Play action again. Schnurr under immediate pressure. Schnurr can't get it away. Yes, he does. To Darnell Autry, who's ushered out of bounds back at the 45-yard line of Northwestern. Well, I'll tell you, the Hawkeyes are all over that play. And again, it was Jared DeVries who makes things happen behind the line of scrimmage. He took down the quarterback.
Well, as you said, DeVries is the guy that has been able to put pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And even though he didn't get the sack, it's going to look the same if you're the head coach, because that's a negative play that pushes Northwestern backwards.
Pushed him back by 10 yards, Randy. Watch it again.
You see DeVries, he just never quits. He keeps coming after him and coming after him, even though he was blocked by a couple players. Reaches out and grabs him and continues to push Schnurr backwards. Even though it's completed, as you said, he's still for minus yardage.
You saw the other guy who was there, didn't you? Vernon Rollins.
Vernon Rollins.
Even if you didn't see him, you could guess. Iowa on a blitz. Autry gunned down by Lloyd Bickham, and an impressive stand by the Iowa defense. Outstanding series for the Iowa defense and a 4th down for Northwestern.
This could have been a series where their defense went into the tank. After stopping Northwestern, Iowa's offense gets the ball, first play throws the interception, forces their defense back onto the field. Could have been a place where they say, toss in the towel. They don't, they stop them here.
I don't think either side's going to toss in the towel regardless of what happens out there today. These two teams have gone at each other. 4th down, about 22. Burton in punt formation. It's off a nice kick here. Tim Dwight allows it to hit on the 10 and bounce into the end zone. First down for the Hawkeyes from their 20-yard line when we resume on a wintry afternoon in Evanston. Here, Northwestern leading by 4, and the Iowa offense takes over at its 20-yard line.
Not that many more opportunities for this Iowa offense to move the ball down and put it into the end zone. Starting at your own 20-yard line, you don't have to force things to come, but you got to take advantage of the plays when they present themselves.
The wind has subsided somewhat here. Iowa going into what little wind is left. Play action, Sherman. He's hit and sacked. Warren arrived initially on the scene, and it was Matt Rice in the backfield as well. A loss of yardage back near the 14-yard line, loss of 6.
Play action is supposed to slow down that pass rush. Mike Warren doesn't go for the play action, continues on his rush, wraps Sherman up. Good coverage downfield. When you're trying to throw the ball as far downfield as Iowa is, it takes longer. Quarterback has to hold the ball. That time Warren got there.
2nd and 16. Cedric Shaw looking to cut it back. He got 5 of those yards back to the 19-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 11 for Iowa. And Danny Sutter on the stop for Northwestern.
Well, this is really going to bring up a key 3rd down as time is running down with less than 7 minutes to go. If Iowa doesn't pick this up, they're going to have to punt and give Northwestern what would look to be decent field position. They really need to convert this.
Sherman calling the play at the line. Tim Dwight is at the top of your screen. He's the guy they look for in these situations. Sherman outlets it to Price, the tight end, and he's not going to get the first down. Price on a gain of about 6 yards out to the 25-yard line, where it is 4th down and 5 for the Hawkeyes.
Iowa trying to get the ball deeper downfield. It's 3rd and 11. Take a look at Tim Dwight, the speedster for these Hawkeyes, going deep down the field, just trying to outrun and then break to the outside. Sherman doesn't have enough time to let that play develop to get him the ball. He needs better protection.
Gallery and punt formation. Not sure if somebody got a piece of that or not, but a shank nonetheless is the end result. And Northwestern will get it at the 40-yard line of Iowa. I believe somebody may have gotten a piece of that one.
So we'll take a look at that. You almost think it's hard not to get a piece of this as Martin comes right up the middle. And if he didn't get a piece of that, it certainly caused the punter to direct the ball away from him and get off a poor punt.
So now the Iowa defense trailing by 4, 24-20. With 5:49 left to go in the game, is placed in the precarious position of having to stop Northwestern on a drive that begins at the Iowa 40-yard line. Last 3 drives, 3 straight punts. The Hawkeye defense has allowed the visitors to hang in this game. Autry back to the line of scrimmage, no gain. The Big Ten's leading rusher, although he is over 100 yards here today, has found nothing easy.
You just get the feeling if they keep giving Autry the ball, Northwestern feels he's going to break another run like he did in the first quarter, first half, that set up one of their touchdowns. They're going to just keep giving it to him. I don't think they're going to put that pressure on Schnurr to make the plays.
And once again, 1 break by the Iowa defense now. They're really backed up against the wall. 1 break, a Northwestern score. And this one, it's going to be tough for the offense to get anything going into that wind. Autry hit in the backfield. Bobby Diaco, second leading tackler in the conference, made the hit back behind the line of scrimmage by about 3 yards. So a 3rd down coming up once again for Northwestern.
Another key 3rd down. Last time Iowa faced it, needed to make it, couldn't do it. Lost control of the ball by having to punt. Now Northwestern, in much better field position, has a key 3rd down that even though it's 12, 13 yards to go, they can keep this, pick this up and keep this clock moving, keep the ball. You're just keeping it out of Iowa's hands. You don't want to force something that's not there, turn the ball over, but you want to try and get the 1st down.
Iowa 1 of 8 on third downs. Make that Northwestern 1 of 8. Schnur, a big play here. Incomplete. The ball dropped by Bates inside the coverage and about the 28-yard line. That was Mulhern out the coverage in the middle of the secondary.
Good coverage here by Tom Knight, number 8 for Iowa. He forces Bates to go to the outside. That gives Knight good position. So when Bates cuts to the inside, Knight's already right there and throws him off his strike. Good coverage, good position, and good coverage.
He also held him a little bit and got away with it.
Number 6.
You are so
helps.
picky, aren't you?
It always helps. Whatever it takes. Another outstanding stand by Iowa's defense. 4th punt in a row in this second half for Northwestern. Burton gets off a high kick. Fair catch signal is made. The ball hits and stays in play. And Danny Sutter grabs it at about the 13-yard line, where the Hawkeyes will put it in play in their own territory.
At their own 14-yard line.
I did. 10 Studios, the Missouri Tigers trying to snap a 5-game skid, but they have the 7-2 Colorado Buffaloes. Buffaloes driving. John Hessler escapes the rush, scrambles, hits James Kidd down to the 2-yard line. And then on the very next play, Hessler throws for a score. Second quarter, Buffaloes over the Tigers, 7-0. Let's go back to Evanston.
Thank you, Mike. Northwestern rooters trying to urge their defense to turn back the Hawkeyes one more time and preserve that 4-point lead. Iowa first down football just short of its 14. Berger, the lone running back, gets the call.
Mike Berger, the ball carrier.
And he has about 5 yards out near the 19-yard line. Don Holmes made the stop. Holmes again playing for the injured Pat Fitzgerald, who's down with an ankle injury. They had taken him for x-rays, and it's still not known if he'll be back in this game.
When you get a sense watching this crowd, which has been pretty quiet most of the game, that this is the drive. They were on their feet cheering their defense. They think this is the drive. Iowa's either going to win it or lose it.
Shaw and Berger, the backfield tandem on second down. Berger out near the 31-yard line to an Iowa first down on a gain of 12 yards.
Brought down by Chris Martin.
Northwestern came with a blitz. Ismaeli, the defensive back that generally is the one that'll come and put pressure on the quarterback, came through, and Shaw did a nice job of picking him up. That gave Sherman plenty of time to let the plays develop, and then threw the ball to Berger, who was wide open because the zone had dropped so deep.
3:20 to go in the game. Iowa trailing by 4. Hawkeyes have a first down and all 3 timeouts remaining. First down to the 31. Northwestern showed blitz and backed out of it. The screen pass, or they should say the little flat pass to the big tight end, and he fumbles the football. It's picked up by Ismaeli for the touchdown. Derek Price made the reception, lost the football on a hit. Ismaeli picked it up and takes it in for what could be the clinching score of the game.
Well, it's a story that has happened so many times. Here you see Rodney Ray come up, force the fumble. Ismaeli right there in order to pick up the ball, and then turns it into the touchdown. But so many times this year, this Northwestern defense has created turnovers, has made the plays. That's one reason why their offense can be so poor on third down conversions and yet have such a good record as their defense making plays like that.
And the extra point by Brian Goins. There's a penalty marker down. The extra point was good. Penalty marker down. Northwestern leading 31-20, pending the outcome of the flag here. And that changes the complexion of this ball game for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
A personal foul, dead ball on the offense after the kick. The kick is good. Penalty enforcement on the kickoff.
So the extra point is good, and Northwestern now has a 31-20 lead over the Iowa Hawkeyes in the 4th. And the hit right here, Rodney Ray triggers it loose. The tight end Derek Price, and Hudhaifa Ismaeli motors to the end zone from 31 yards away. And Northwestern trying to take another step toward a return trip to the Rose Bowl. And it's been a long time since they've been there. They're going to need a little help. They're going to need somebody to knock off Ohio State. Goins kicking off from the 20 off the penalty. On the extra point, Tim Dwight trying to get Iowa some field position, and he's got it out across the 40-yard line to the 41.
Now, if you're Iowa, you can't afford to be patient and take what the defense gives you. You need to create these plays with only 2 minutes and 51 seconds to go and needing 2 touchdowns. You got to force things to happen and count on some of your skilled players just to make the plays.
And they're going to have to make some plays in a short amount of time. 2:51 to go for the game. Northwestern leading by 11, 31-20. Iowa going into the wind. The wind has not been as consistently strong as it was in the first half, but nonetheless. Odoms near the first down marker at the 50-yard line. Demo Odoms on the reception. Second down coming up.
This is where a lot of that discipline that these Northwestern defensive coaches have taught their team throughout the year. Have confidence, have discipline. Stay at home, just worry about your job. Somebody catches the ball in front of you, that's okay. Come up and make the tackle. Don't let them turn it into a big touchdown.
Sherman again with the call at the line. Making sure his skilled position people know what the call is. Second and short, Sherman to the air. Got the tight end, Matt Slutzker. Slutzker eluded one defender, but then is swarmed back near the 39-yard line. A marker near the 39 or 40-yard line. It's a first down for the Iowa Hawkeyes and a gain of about 10 yards.
Brought down by Eric Collier.
The first down, that'll stop the clock until the change gets set. Sherman needs to call the play right now while the clock's not moving so that he's ready when the referee blows the whistle.
First and 10 Iowa at the Northwestern 40-yard line.
And they roll the clock. 2.5 minutes to go in the game. Iowa trailing by 11. Sherman a deep drop with good protection. Went to the short pattern and excellent defense. Martin made the hit on Cedric Shaw, the running back who hauled in the pass, gain of about 4 yards.
I think Northwestern's going to give them a lot of those plays, Wayne. 4 or 5 yard gains, keep them in front.
Coming up on 2 minutes left to go in the game. Iowa needs a couple of scores. They're down by 11. Need a couple of touchdowns. Or a touchdown and an extra point, a 2-point conversion, then a field goal. Sherman, Cedric Shaw didn't really have anywhere to go. Holmes, the linebacker, responded close to a first down to the Hawkeyes at the 30-yard line of Northwestern.
Oh, I agree with you. Shaw didn't really have any chance of making a big play, but just got close enough to the chains, maybe for some measurement.
Under 2 minutes to go in the game. Iowa has 3 timeouts remaining. Cedric Shaw up the middle. Shaw trying to make a play. He's got a first down just inside the 20, and I would imagine Hayden Fry will use a timeout right here. William Bennett made the stop for Northwestern.
They're just trying to get him with the clock stopped because of the first down. He's letting Sherman go to the line of scrimmage and call the play. He may be saving his timeouts in case they do score to use them when Northwestern goes on offense.
Or Iowa recovers an onside kick. That would be, I would imagine, the next move if they score here. Sherman slips. Did his knee go down? Yes, it did. Back near the 28-yard line.
That's the 28-yard line of Northwestern.
And the clock is going to continue to run right here, so now they have to use one of their timeouts.
So the Hawkeyes stop the clock with 70 seconds remaining. Northwestern leading by 11, 31-20 over the Hawkeyes in a hard-fought, cold affair in Evanston.
3 out of 4 new cars.
And in Evanston, that's the best season Northwestern has had since what, the early 70s, 71, 72, somewhere around there. And they're bidding for a Rose Bowl invitation for the first time since the late 40s. And they're looking to snap a 21-game losing streak to the Iowa Hawkeyes.
You look at this team too, Wayne, and they've got a lot of players coming back. They can be good for a couple of years to come.
The Hawkeyes have 2 timeouts remaining, 70 seconds to work, and it's second down and 19. Near the Northwestern 28. Sherman a deep drop. Buys some time. Knocked
knocked down by Collier. Shaw would have had some running room down the left sidelines, and I dare say, Randy, he had Timo Odoms out in front to block Rodney Ray, and if Eric Collier doesn't break this up, Iowa might score on it.
I agree with you. Sherman saw that and tried to direct Shaw to go to the outside, threw the ball just a little bit behind him, but I think Gary Barnett sees that as a big play by Collier because he saw what we did. That could have been a big play for Iowa. Collier to knock that ball down.
Third down now, and 19 for the Hawkeyes. Sherman again. Lots of time. Buy some more. Short pass here to Slutzker, the tight end. Cutting it back, gets to the 20. And so it'll be 4th and about 11 coming up. Don Holmes made the stop on the play. Northwestern content to allow the Hawkeyes to cut it back to the inside because now it forces another timeout being used by Hayden Fry and company. Stopping the clock with 49 seconds to go. The Hawkeyes have one timeout remaining.
You can't say enough about the secondary that Northwestern has and the way they are covering these Iowa receivers. When Sherman is scrambling around, that's generally where some of these receivers break open. But as much as he has done that, he's always wound up throwing the ball to their backs or their tight ends, somebody in the flat. So as much as he's doing that running around back there, there's still nobody coming open downfield.
We got about 3 inches of snow early this morning here in Evanston, but the skies have cleared. It's just cold. You know, wind whipping off the lake that's got the wind chill factor in single digits. The Iowa Hawkeyes are facing the challenge now, trying to score 11 points at least in 49 seconds. And they are facing 4th down and about 11 yards to go just outside the 20-yard line of Northwestern.
This is where Northwestern in the past has liked to disguise the blitz and bring Ismaeli off the corner to put extra pressure. They've gotten some pressure with Warren and Casey Daly, their 2 defensive ends, not having to bring Ismaeli.
So Iowa, less than a minute to go. 4th down. This to stay in the game. Sherman. Feels some pressure, and Cedric Shaw could not haul it in. I'm not sure he would have gotten a first down out of that anyway. The pressure was coming from the guys up front. And that forced the throw by Sherman. And the Wildcats take over on downs. Casey Daly was among those pressuring the quarterback.
Again, Northwestern did not have to bring Ismaeli or any of the linebackers. They got the pressure with their defensive ends that forced Sherman to throw. But even though Shaw looked wide open, I agree with you, Wayne, I don't think he would have had enough room to pick up that first down without breaking some tackles.
Now they had some people closing in the secondary. Iowa can stop the clock one more time. 44 seconds to go. Steve Schnurr to one knee. Let's go quickly to the sidelines. Jim Barber's got an update on Pat Fitzgerald, the linebacker for Northwestern.
And unfortunately, Wayne, it is not good news. Originally, we told you it did not appear he broke his ankle. That is correct, but he has a broken fibula and tibula. He will be lost for the rest of the season. He was able to move his ankle, but the break is right above the ankle.
My goodness. You hate to see that happen. Fine young man who's had an outstanding season leading the conference in tackles.
We just hope as a junior he'll be able to come back next year fully recover from that.
The Northwestern Wildcats have ended a long losing streak. 21 consecutive losses to the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Northwestern Wildcats today have broken that string and proven to Hayden Fry, who said, hey, you know, I know they're good, but they got to prove it to me. They haven't beaten us in 21 straight games. Today, they were able to accomplish that, break the streak to Iowa, and in a season that has seen Northwestern in a lot of firsts. First win over Michigan in 3 decades. First win over Notre Dame. First win since 1973 over the Iowa Hawkeyes.
You see that a lot, and it just seems as though everybody you talk to, well, they've got to show me. You know, I know what they're doing, but when is this bubble going to burst? When are they going to come down to reality? This is reality. They are a good football team, and every week they continue to go out and show those doubters week in and week out.
Well, they got off to a 3-0 lead in Northwestern. Iowa stormed back with 14 unanswered points and appeared to be taking command of the first half, and in fact were dominating this ball game.
Then Northwestern put together a run of 14 unanswered points to take the lead. Iowa comes back and grabs a 20-17 lead. And in the fourth period of play, Northwestern Wildcats on a turnover, which I guess is symbolic of the way their season has gone. They have scored almost as much off the defense as they have on offense. Turnovers have led to points for Northwestern. 98 points were directly related to plays made by their defense coming into today's game. The nail in the coffin of the Hawkeyes was scored by the defense. A fumble by Price, the tight end for Iowa, picked up on the play by Ismaeli. He motored 31 yards into the end zone, and the story was written.
And their special teams contributed today. Brian Musso with the punt return. Everybody contribution should take some pride and some satisfaction in this victory.